And we are coming to you live from beautiful Babcock Field, Washington, Illinois, for today's IHSA quarterfinal football game between the visiting Crete-Monee Warriors and the Washington Panthers. I'm joined in the booth by longtime veteran, now of color analyst, Blake Bauer. Blake, welcome to the booth.
It's great to be here on a Saturday afternoon. It's cold, but it's playoff football, so it's always exciting.
I am Eric Schermerhorn, head basketball coach here at Washington. Blake is the varsity assistant, and indeed we are two basketball coaches masquerading as football color and play-by-play. Today, Crete comes in with an incredible record, an incredible tradition. Crete comes in 8-3, 6th rank. Their 3 losses combined, the teams only have 2 total losses. A loss to Lincoln Way East, 35-20. A loss to Joliet Catholic, 41-17. And a loss to Kankakee, 28-20. Coach Bauer, that is a loaded schedule.
It's a very big schedule, and you know what? That's only prepared them for what they're going to face in the playoffs. So that's why you do it. You schedule the tough teams, and it challenges your team, and you find out really what you're made of, and you build from there when you head to the playoffs.
Veteran Daryl Crouch, Panther head coach, 17th year, 140 wins and 46 losses. Daryl Crouch's football team walks in with a record of 9-2, state ranked number 9, a loss to Dunlap early in the season, and a loss to the exact same team from the Southland Conference, Kankakee. Is that matchup against Kankakee a key moment to be able to look and forecast what this game might look like?
I think you can look at it from a standpoint of, yeah, it's a common opponent, but I think both teams have improved throughout the season. So you look at it, you reflect on it, where do you need to improve, what needs to get better, and in what areas. But, yeah, you've improved throughout the season, so I think you're looking more at what you've done in late October.
We're blessed to be able to watch 2 very, very sound defenses. First, talking on the side of the football for Crete, number 55, Bryce Bennett, a smart, high IQ senior, 5'11", 190, plays very fast on the edge. And then number 51, brother of Chris Slayton, which you're looking at a American football defensive end who's currently a free agent, but he played at Syracuse. Spent some time with the Giants, the Bills, the Falcons, and the Steelers. Now you've got number 51, Xavier Slayton, little brother, but not so little. 6'3", 245. That's a stacked D-line. Coach, talk about the linebackers and the DBs.
Yeah, let's talk about number 3, Terry Elias, and then let's talk about number 10, Estavion Thompson. We'll start with Elias. He's a 4-year starter. That's huge for Coach Konecki, bringing that back for 4 years. He's just so sound in the middle. And then you've got number 10, Estavion Thompson, a senior, he gets, in basketball terms, we'd say he's a downhill player. He gets down to that line of scrimmage fast. His ability to close the gap in space is incredible. Those are 2 huge players for Crete-Monee.
John Konecki's offense is diverse. They can play multiple ways. It all starts behind an offensive line. He's got 5 to 7 guys that are selfless. They don't talk much. He told us that their families are nothing but hard-working professionals, and that offensive line is going to be doing some work for the running backs. Number 23, Elijah Grayer, 5'7", 160-pound junior. He's a grappler during the winter months. Yep. Johnny Evans, we're going to see him in the Wildcat sets, so the quarterback's going to go off, and then you're going to have that dynamic running back. And the bell cow. Coach, what does bell cow mean?
So in the old days, they would put the bell on the first cow of the herd. And then when that would sense to the farmer that that's where the herd is, so they would always be able to hear where that first cow is.
Ranching 101, courtesy Dunlap, Illinois.
However,
the bell cow for the Warriors, number 28, Chance Joseph. We will hear that name frequently. Let's now shift gears and let's go to Washington. Talk Washington defense. Coach, I'll let you elaborate a little bit. Highlight us this Panther defense.
Defensively, I think you're looking at number 13, Cade Beachside, and number 41, E.J. Phillips, 2 linebackers today who are going to have to play very, very aggressive for the Panthers. Beachside's a 2-way player, offensively and defensively. Those guys got to get downhill. They've got to keep Crete-Monee's quarterback, number 7, Josh Franklin. They got to keep their eyes on him because he is a dual-threat guy who will get out of the pocket and go.
And we will talk much about Franklin throughout this broadcast. Washington has lost an interior linebacker, Brock Skaggs, an emotional, a mental, and, of course, a physical presence on the football field. Brock has been here throughout the entire season. I see him now bringing out, I believe that is hopefully an oar and not the principal's paddle for corporal punishment. So there is Brock Skaggs coming out. And we also have a linebacker that was gone from the past season, Timmy Malinowski. But before we go to the Washington offense, I have to share with you a story about Timmy Malinowski, who is playing today in Fort Hays. He, of course, is a long snapper for Pitt State. Timmy Malinowski's bus was on the way to Fort Hays. The bus broke down, and indeed, it was not a mechanic. It was Timmy Malinowski with a toolbox fixing the bus and getting them to their Fort Hays game. Washington Panthers, we always talk about that these guys are multi-talented. Timmy Malinowski might be one of those guys. So, Coach, let's talk offense. This Panther offense has evolved over this week, over this season, and, of course, over Coach Crouch's career. Talk, please, about what we're going to see tonight.
Well, you're going to see a heavy dose of number 22, Thomas Borges. He's got 1,500 yards on the season and 205 carries. So if you're doing the math, that's 7.5 yards per carry. And I think those numbers, a lot of those numbers, they come after contact, and I think that's where he's so good. He continues to chop those feet, and yards after contact are huge for this team.
Thomas Borges is just 86 yards away from breaking Kenny Hopp's second-place record of 1,636. We'll keep tabs on his progression tonight and see if he becomes the number 2 rusher in a season. Continue on.
And then let's talk about the offensive line, because a running back is only as good as his offensive line, and they have played phenomenal in the last few weeks. They've just gotten better and better. Jordan Martin, Jay Wireman, Case Foster, Seth Boswell, and Henry Warwick. Those 5 guys have really stepped it up, and they are creating those holes for Borges that you see.
Behind every good football team in a quarterfinal football matchup is a coaching staff. To the Crete sideline we go, starting with their man, their guru. From Brother Rice as a high school coach, John Konecki. He started off as a young man playing football. He did not finish his entire high school career, though. A lumbar stenosis got the best of him. 2 times he bruised his spinal cord, unable to fulfill that 4-year commitment, but his passion for football stuck. He found his way onto a wrestling mat. He threw the shot in the disc, and then his coaching career, this is fairly impressive that we're going to see. Time at Bishop McNamara, time at Marian Catholic, and time at Homewood Flossmoor, and then he arrives here to Crete. He is surrounded, Coach, by an all-star cast. Talk, if you would, a little bit about his assistants.
Well, let's start with his quarterbacks coach, Quincy Woods, who played at USC. And when you can get a guy like that in there who has coached, who has played at that level, he can really coach those guys up. So you see why number 7, Josh Franklin, is the player he is.
You talked about Quincy Woods, the quarterback coach. He's from Rich East. His high school career, 2,240 yards passing, 700 running, and this is amazing. He was the backup to Carson Palmer while at USC. Greg Murray, a running back coach from Marian Catholic, spent time with Barry Switzer on the sidelines at Oklahoma, and we all know that Coach Switzer, he'd like to smoke on those sidelines every now and then.
Yeah.
And then the last guy over there, Rory Lee, that we're going to discuss, played some running back at Wisconsin. That's a loaded crew on the sidelines.
But it's with those guys, they've got no ego. They go to work every day, and that's the point that Coach Konecki made. Is there's no egos with these guys, and there could be. But they just go to work every day. They come with their lunch pail and their hard hat, and they put in the work.
And Darryl Crouch is surrounded by equally as good as a football staff as it gets in the state of Illinois. The eyes in the skies today, Coach Aaron Davis and Coach Zach Davis. We'll talk a bit about them as this broadcast goes on. They are going to be working in the press box on the sidelines. Kyle Wisher doing his magic with the offensive line. And then the man on the defensive side that continuously comes up from opposing coaches is Todd Stevens. Well, ladies and gentlemen, it is game time. It is quarterfinal football. Game time temperature 39 degrees, wind at about 9 miles per hour. And Paul Spohr kicks off, and it is a line drive kick that is going to come to a rest at the 1. And Crete now is on the run. Crete at about the 15, the 16, and brought down. And we are playing IHSA football on a beautiful Saturday afternoon. Beautiful if you're in a press box with Coach Bauer's heater blowing on your feet the entire time. So, Coach, what a great opportunity to now describe Crete's offense and the actions and the motions and the complexities that we're going to see.
You're going to see spread. you're going to see multiple quarterbacks. So you might see Josh Franklin, then you could see him shift to receiver, and then they'll bring a quarterback to play, or a wide receiver to play quarterback.
And that is Franklin now, and Franklin on the keep. Franklin up the middle on the right, and he is brought down by number 20, Mason Geltz, on his first tackle. So Franklin last week had himself a great game. A 15-3 victory over St. Ignatius. Franklin was 7 for 11, 105 yards, 1 touchdown, and then he ran for 73 yards. Coach Konecki compared him to Allen Iverson on a football field. Let's hope that we don't see that crossover and Jordan gets his knees buckled today. There is Franklin around the left, and Franklin is going to be ran out of bounds, and that is Crete's first down of the game here at 11 minutes and 17 seconds. Also in the booth today, we need to give tons of shout-outs. Caleb, our man, our IT guru, is going to be spending the time. He's sipping on some hot chocolate. And then we've got a new cameraman. Internet sensation Charlie Schumerhorn is currently playing Peoria Roosevelt in a shootout game. We are joined by Coach Brad Stewart. Thank you, Mr. Stewart, for being here. And there is a bubble screen on the outside. And some lumber is laid, but a pickup of about 8.
And that was number 2, Lionel Billups, and that is Franklin's favorite target. He's got 70 catches on the season. He's explosive. And we talked about Borges' yards after catch. Billups is yak too. The yards after catch are so big for him.
So Crete in a hurry-up offense. We brought up Billups with his 70 catches, 5'9", 155-pounder. There is some motion out of number 4, Johnny Evans. That ball comes back to the left away from the motion, and that man is down the left sideline. He is broken away from the Panthers, and Crete is on the board, 6-0. Crete scores on the opening possession here in the quarterfinal matchup. 10 minutes and 34 seconds on the clock, and Crete has jumped out to a 6-0 lead.
Quick strike for Crete.
This reminds me just a little bit, Coach, if we go back to week number 2, Kankakee struck the Panthers very quickly. We've got an extra point now up. Number 7 is the holder. That is Josh Franklin, the quarterback. And the kick is up, and it is good, as that is Tyrell Hester, 6-foot junior, and Crete-Monee now is up 7-0. Coach, if we go back in time and we look a little bit at week number 2 for Washington, came off a victory against Highland in week number 1.
Yep.
Didn't really have an identity, but we came on home turf against the Southland Conference team, Kankakee, and it was a quick strike Kankakee.
It was, and the quick strikes were off of turnovers. So 14-0 real quick in the game, which puts you in a deficit. But then Washington settled in. Okay, they started making some plays. They didn't turn the ball over. I think they forced a turnover and got that game within 21-7 or 21-14, but just couldn't stop Kankakee from there.
And this is a different Washington football team than week number 2, a much improved football team. Death by 1,000 cuts is kind of what they've adopted, that ball control, that ball possession. You can see that Washington now's kickoff return alignment is a little bit different than it's been all season. Observing film, Coach Konecki even talked about this. They are not a traditional special teams. You will see multiple guys act like they're going to kick it. However, here this looks fairly traditional, and indeed it is. And that ball is now kicked. Number 8 for the Panthers there to get it is Jack Lemus, center fielder in the spring, and kick returner here in a cold fall day. So Washington's coming on the field under the direction of senior from St. Pat's Elementary School, junior high, Noah Burlett. What's Noah bringing to the table?
Well, he's bringing some leadership, especially over the last, 5-6 games, which really, really improved for him. He's going to give it a heavy dose to Thomas Borges today. That's what you're going to see, and I think you're also going to see a couple times where, last week he didn't throw that much, but when he did, he connected with Isaac Mapson, which is a really good connection for this Panther team.
Noah Burlett's under center in the power eye. This is Isaac Mapson out to the left of your screen. There's a handoff to Borges, and Borges is wrapped up, and that is number 10. That is Estevion Thompson with the tackle. Thompson is a senior defensive back in a legacy-driven Crete-Monee team. These are football players that oftentimes fathers and older brothers have already been in this program, and sometimes that is an important asset to have in a squad. 2 minutes and 34 seconds on the clock. Crete-Monee now is up 7-0. 2 minutes and 34 seconds on the clock. 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 2 minutes and So the Panthers right now are getting the play from Coach Darryl Crouch. Noah Burlett on the season, 69 completions to 126 attempts, 890 total yards. But the Panthers have become very run-heavy here in the past 5 to 6 weeks. There is a fake handoff on the end around to Borges. Burlett keeps it, and Burlett is brought down for a loss of 1.
Loose ball on the play. It is recovered by Washington.
Some of the numbers you're going to be looking at on Crete. Some of the people you're going to be looking at on Crete is number 55, Bryce Bennett, and number 51, Xavier Slayton. That was not Noah Burlett. That's already Coach Crouch's first wrinkle. That was Easton Harris, second baseman on a Final Four team during the baseball season. Easton Harris, coach, as a head basketball coach, you're a former quarterback, a scrambler. Easton Harris's role in today's game.
To come in and run the ball. He's a good runner. He's also got a good arm. So I wouldn't be surprised if they ran some with him and then they threw a few passes with him as well.
Borges in motion, and that is back to Tyler Richardson. Richardson is brought down by a few Crete-Monee Warrior players. Richardson typically not on the field. That is due to injury. Number 4, Drew Lewis. During the winter months, Drew Lewis is a Division I recruit on the basketball court. He is recovering rapidly. He has started to get some workouts in to get his cardio up during the season, but he was unable to field out tonight, and now you see Richardson being a dual threat. Paul Spohr for the punt. Spohr's kick is an end-over-end kick. Number 2 for Crete. That's Lionel Billups backs away from it, and the Warriors are going to be on for their second possession. There is 8 minutes and 17 seconds left on the clock. First quarter, Warriors 7, Panthers 0. So a 3-and-out for the Panthers, and Crete-Monee with a quick strike.
Yep.
Panther defensive adjustments.
You got to keep number 7 contained, and you can't let them get to the edges. I mean, all as a whole team. You got to keep them inside. If they get the edge, their speed can take it to the house.
Number 4, Johnny Evans in motion. That's around the outside. That is number 28, Chance Joseph. And Joseph's brought down after a gain of 1 or 2. Tyler Casey, a wrestler, and a defensive lineman, number 39 on the tackle for the Panthers.
You know, another thing, we had him in the backfield there, but we got to start making the first tackle. There's about 2 or 3 missed tackles on that play. That's something defensively for the Panthers that they got to get more sound at throughout this game, is making tackles. 4
wide receivers out to the right now. That's a man in motion. That's Franklin off to the side. That's a bubble screen down the left sideline. That's E.J. Phillips. E.J. Phillips with the tackle, missed him, and Crete-Monee is on the board again. That is their second touchdown. That is number 2 on the catch, Lionel Billups, who was able to break free. And a week 2, almost nightmare scenario where Kankakee, the K's, came out and scored 14 points in a matter of minutes against the Panthers. The Panthers did settle down, but this is a quick strike Crete-Monee offense.
A quick strike offense, Coach, that has put up points 61, 78, 76, and 68 all in this year.
Franklin has had some games that his numbers almost look like PlayStation-like. To go back to Coach Stewart's days, Coach Stewart, the cameraman tonight, that would have been Nintendo back in our day. His numbers in one game against Thornwood, Franklin in a 78-18 victory, had nearly 500 total yards, 6 touchdown passes, and he rushed for 2 touchdowns. Franklin is dynamic, but there appears to be many more weapons than just number 7, the quarterback and the man in charge of that.
Yeah, it's not just number 7, Coach. It's number 2, and then the first touchdown pass to number 28. He is also a dynamic player. So they've got weapons. It's not just Franklin. And as you can tell, they want to get them the ball in space and then force Washington to make tackles, which right now they're not.
So running back Chance Joseph with the first strike of the game, a long touchdown run down the left side. Now Lionel Billups, who's up to 72 catches already, 2 catches today, and Crete now with the kickoff. Washington is expecting some sort of onside kick. Their hands team is out, and the kick is a line drive. That is Jack Lemus. Lemus up the middle. Lemus shifts to the left. Lemus still on his feet. Lemus to the 36, to the 37, where he's dragged down by the Warriors. So this will be the second possession. Coach Crouch staying with the tradition. He is bundled up on top but wearing shorts on the bottom. Coach Crouch comes in with 140 victories. The son of Royce Crouch. We sadly lost Royce just a few short years ago, but you know that Coach Crouch inherits so much from his father.
Yep.
Royce was a construction superintendent, just a tough-nosed guy with a heart of gold, and Daryl Crouch has definitely inherited a lot from Royce.
And you see it in his football team.
Absolutely, as now Noah Burlett out of the power I. That's a handoff to Beescheid, number 13. And Kay Beescheid is drugged down after a gain of 1.
It's a good fight from Beachside. He was stopped about a yard or two short and then fought for a couple more yards. Good fight.
Coach Crouch and Coach Konecki have so much in common, and they have an abundance of respect for each other. In interviews that we conducted throughout the week, to give you all some background, they spoke very highly. And it was amazing for us to hear how similar they are. Upbringing, backgrounds, influences of coaches, places that they stopped, things that they took from people surrounding them. Two men that have now brought all of this knowledge and experience and are teaching a lot of young kids how to be great football players and now just to be great people. That is Beescheid now drugged down, and that is number 57 for Crete. Number 57 is Devonta Freeman, 6'5", 260-pounder. Devonta Freeman is a basketball player that had not played football until his junior year, and now that just shows you multi-sport athletes are everything.
Absolutely, and Crete's defensive line here is getting a really good push. The Washington offensive line's really got to start firing off the ball to create some holes and because we're getting hit right now behind the line of scrimmage. We got to start making contact 2 to 3 yards, 4 yards down the field.
Coach, have you noticed yet Isaac Mapson, is it man-to-man coverage? Is he out there by himself?
He's right now he's on an island out there.
Mapson comes in, another dual sport athlete. He is a basketball player in the winter, first team all-conference guy. There's Mapson on a slant. And that is Brock Powlett over the middle. Powlett with the catch. And Powlett, number 11, with a big-time catch over the middle and a touchdown-saving tackle by Crete. And that is a way that you can definitely stop the bleeding.
It's a great throw from Burlett. He's got him wide open across the middle. When you put that many guys in the box and you got single cover, you got one-on-one coverage and man out there. Great read on the seam route. Great throw.
Coach Zach Davis, who's up in the press box, he is the eye in the sky for Daryl Crouch. When interviewed earlier this week, talked at length about the needing Borges and Isaac Mapson to make plays. But, Coach, he talked nonstop about Brock Powlett had to be a weapon. He must have been the eyes in the sky and told Daryl Crouch, get Powlett the ball. He's going to be open. There's Burlett around for a short gain on the play. So there is 5 minutes and 19 seconds left. It is 13-0 Crete. A second down and about 3 or 4 here for the Panthers as they have responded to 2 very long touchdown scoring passes. And Burlett now is waiting for the call from Daryl Crouch.
If you notice, Washington's taking their time a little bit here. They're running that clock. They're keeping that Crete offense off the field.
Trips to the right. Burlett with the handoff to Beescheid. And Beescheid is stopped after a minimal gain. It is going to be 3rd down and about 1. They are in Paul Sporer range. However, the Panthers do not want to settle for a field goal here at 5 minutes left in the first quarter.
Yeah, this is one where you need a touchdown. You need a big response here from your offense.
As we continue to watch here, cold weather as an indoor athlete, looking now at this as a guy that has not really played in too many football games in cold weather, does that affect play calling?
It depends on the wind. I think if it's really windy, it can affect your pass game. But cold weather, you just got to get through it.
Burlett had time. Burlett off to the left. He missed Powlett. The ball was underthrown. It will leave us now with a 3rd down and 1. It's your first opportunity now, Coach Bauer, to become the man on the sideline. Coach Crouch, 4th down and 1. It's down 13-0. Do you go to Paul Sporer or do you go for the first down?
You're going to Paul Sporer. I saw it.
So
I
Paul,
can't take credit for that one.
Coach Stewart must have zoomed in on the camera and got you a good look at number 2. Sporer is a little bit off to the left here. This is going to be about a 36-yard field goal attempt for Sporer. The kick is up, and the kick is
It's good.
Good. And the Panthers are on the board, 13-3. Washington is on the board, and the Panthers have responded. At this point in week number 2, that response didn't quite happen this early.
No.
So perhaps the Panthers now have recovered and can settle in.
Absolutely. Now you see a team that knows how to respond. You know what? You got punched in the mouth early. You settle down. You get a nice drive. You get a couple big plays. You don't get the touchdown, but you still get points on the board.
Sometimes you have to look back in history. You have to think and remind your players that certain things happen for certain reasons. So if you look back in the playoff football game of 2018, Washington was up in that game 28-14. Crete scored 21 unanswered points. A Washington football team that was loaded with talent. Caleb Fisher, Sam Walter. This now is maybe flip the grid here. Flip it now.
Yep.
You're down 13-3. You just need to chip away. You can't score 10 points in 5 seconds.
No, and I think your offense just showed you can move the ball. But now defensively, they got to start making tackles.
There is a nice high kick out of Spohr. Crete now with some sustained blocks around the outside. He is still on his feet. That is big old number 4, Johnny Evans, 6'2", 185-pound senior, with a nice kick return. Some nice sustained blocks out of Crete, and they will start with their 3rd possession of the game at about the 36-yard line.
And if you're Crete, if it's not broke, don't fix it. You keep getting the ball to your wide receivers in space. Keep running with your quarterback, Franklin. Those things are working for Crete. Just keep going at it.
Josh Franklin at the quarterback. He's shotgun all by himself in an empty set. He goes off to the left again. There are some big old men out there in front of him. There's a flag on the play, our first one, and most likely this one is going to be coming back as that pass was complete to number 2 on the play, Lionel Billups. They are sending, Coach, a man in motion. That time it was the bell cow out there, number 28.
Yep.
Chance Joseph went in motion to the right. That pre-action, what purpose does that serve from an offensive scheme?
Well, when you put somebody in motion, it gets the defense to kind of go with them, right? They've got to make that a focal point. And then if you notice, they had Billups on the other side of the field, on the boundary side of the field, and he was by himself. So you get that shift that may cause your linebackers or safeties or DBs to slide over. Then you get Billups at one-on-one.
So talk to me in basketball terms, we would call that a dummy sprint or a dummy cut to get that defense there. That time he went to number 2, and there is Lionel still on his feet. Lionel brought down by E.J. Phillips. Lionel Billups, 5'9", 155-pounder, is apparently going to be a focal point.
He's so shifty. You think you have him wrapped up, and then all of a sudden he's gone.
Coach Konecki, when he's not a football coach, social studies teacher, social science guru, it just spoke so articulately about his kids. You could hear the passion. You could hear the love of his program and of his players. And oftentimes he was talking about their personalities and not their talent on a football field. As there is number 2 again, Lionel Billups, as he went around the left side and picked up a giant chunk of real estate, as Crete now has got yet another first down, 3 minutes and 4 seconds, 13-3, and it's first down and 10 from about the 37-yard line.
So what's been getting the ball to Billups and through the air has now become on the ground and a handoff. So they're using him in multiple ways.
Franklin, that is not Franklin. That is Franklin that just caught that pass. That is Johnny Evans now playing quarterback. And Coach Konecki talked about changing philosophies around the personnel that you have. That has to be an instance of you have guys on the field that can do multiple things. Let's not put them in a box.
No.
Let's allow them to be creative.
When you have playmakers, you got to get them on the field, and it may be in multiple positions.
Out of the shotgun now, 2 wide receivers off to the right. That is Chance Joseph on a fake run. That's Franklin with the ball. There is flags everywhere, and Franklin is finally brought out of bounds. While there is laundry on the field, Crete has got some tradition. We've talked already about Lionel Billups so many times in this one broadcast, but he has got big shoes to fill from the wide receiver position. In 2012, Lance Lenore a 5'11", 200-pounder, was on that state championship Crete team. Of course, Lenore went on to play for the Cowboys. He went on to play for the Seahawks and the Buffalo Bills. And who can ever forget about Laquan Treadwell, who was also on that football team? That is some talent on a 2012 football team.
That's a lot of talent. And when Coach Konecki talked to us, he didn't talk about talent. He talked about how hard they worked and how they were his best workers. And when you got guys with that much talent being the best workers, that's success.
Johnny Evans on the quarterback keeper. That was Franklin that went in motion. So we have got all sorts of, not trickery, just multi-talented guys that can play multiple positions. Laquan Treadwell, Coach, quick quiz question for you. What other sport did he play besides football?
Basketball?
Yes, sir. Averaged 13 points a game and nearly 9 rebounds a game. He was probably just an absolute beast on the basketball court because I've seen him on a football field. We got trips off to the right. It is 3rd down and 11 for the Warriors. A big stop for the Panthers. That is Franklin off to the right. He has a man wide open, but that ball is incomplete as it drifted out of bounds. That was good. Cylon Hampton was the intended target.
Good coverage. He missed Billups wide open in the middle of the field. He went for the big home run ball, but he had Billups right at the first down marker, but just couldn't find him.
Hampton's first attempt at a touch brings up a 4th down and 11 with 1 minute and 23 seconds on the clock. It does not look like a special teams. Coach Crouch did tell us, and not arrogantly, that he believed that he had a huge special teams advantage over the Warriors. Franklin out of the shotgun. That is Joseph in motion. Franklin on the keeper. Franklin is still on his feet. Franklin around the right. Franklin has picked up the first down, and he is ran out of bounds by Richardson. Franklin is a rare athlete that can not only play downhill, but he also is shifty and can play east-west.
Yes, he's a good runner. He's got really good vision. And as a quarterback, when your vision's good, I mean, you can pass the ball, but when your vision's good, you're a good runner. So he sees those spots. He sees where he can make plays.
It's a misused term oftentimes. People say fast. I like the word pace. He had great pace.
Yes.
Stop, go, accelerate, decelerate. Those are all attributes that carry over in almost any sport, such as football or basketball.
That's a good tackle right there from Tyler Richardson. Open field against Billups. Those are the plays Washington has to make if they want to have a chance to win this game.
They call him T. Rich from Washington Central Junior High School. He dreams of going to Clemson in South Carolina. Those dreams are most likely going to come true. I had T. Rich in class. He was an AP U.S. History and Honors student, hard worker, highly motivated kid. And T. Rich's dad was a quarterback at Manual. Football's in his blood. There's Franklin up the middle. Franklin still on his feet. Franklin still on his feet and finally wrapped up near the first down marker, and the spot is going to be very close to a first down for the Warriors. It is a first down. That was a big-time run, but that 4th down and 11 on the quarterback keeper, you can't let your body language show out here right now. Washington's got to dig in with 15 seconds left and not allow Crete to get in that end zone. Franklin now out of the shotgun. He's got a 5 wide. That's Joseph in motion. Fake handoff to Joseph on the end around. Franklin with the spin, and Franklin now about 2 yards short of a first down. That will be the end of the first quarter. Coach Bauer, we've got now just a brief moment or two to reflect. What are your reflections on this first quarter of this quarterfinal football game?
Well, if you're Crete, you keep doing what you're doing, especially offensively. You keep running with Franklin. You keep getting the ball on the screens to Billups, which are basically short runs. They're just runs, but he gets to make the plays. If you're Washington, it's tackling. You've got to tackle better. When Richardson made that play against Billups, that's the way you got to tackle in the open field. They've missed so many. If they make a tackle on that 4th and long, it's Washington's ball.
So Borges, who has been the bell cow for Washington these past 2 weeks, really these past 5 to 6 weeks, has limited touches. Is that Crete saying we're putting 8 in the box and Borges is not beating us? Or is that Coach Crouch right now trying to show Crete that we're a little bit more complex than just giving it to Thomas Borges?
I think Crete right now is really getting a good push up front. So where earlier what I said about our offensive line. We got to start making Borges get hit about 3-4 yards downfield. He's getting hit 2 to 3 yards in the backfield, and so is Beachside. So the offensive line's really got to get a better push.
Borges against Centennial had 29 attempts for 256 yards. He put it in the end zone 3 separate times. One of the biggest plays of that game was Isaac Mapson, however. Mapson secured a huge catch in the end zone. Mapson had 2 catches for 40. Washington now is looking at trying to stop Crete. It is 2nd down and 2. Ball is on the 6. That is yet another different quarterback now. That's number 13, Armani Carr under center. And Carr hands off to Terry Elias, a 6-foot, 195-pounder. So we've had 3 quarterbacks. We've had multiple running backs, wide receivers now, tons of different looks at the wide receiver spot. This is a Crete-Monee team that you can go fairly deep in the skill positions. I enjoyed listening to Coach Konecki as that ball is down to about the 2. Talk about that offensive line, though. He said his offensive line is quiet. They're unassuming. They're selfless, but boy, can they play. They are the products of professionals and moms and dads that are so disciplined and so tough-nosed.
Yep.
And now we've got Franklin under center. He's got a fullback and a running back by his side. That was not Franklin. That was number 3, Terry Elias. And Elias is brought down. Elias did score against St. Ignatius last week. It is now with 11 minutes left, 13-3. And it is going to be 2nd down and goal from the 2.
Yeah, he said those offensive linemen, they're great kids. They're super nice outside, but once you get them in between these lines, they are nasty.
So we'll have to see now who they line up behind. That's Elias again. And Elias is just short of the goal line.
Yep.
And it is going to bring up a 3rd down and inches for Crete. This is most likely now where they'll run behind Logan Malgrim, 6'1", 230-pound junior. Or maybe this is where they'll go to number 57, right behind Devonta Freeman, 6'5", 260, his first year of football, a hooper in the winter. Here is the play. And Crete has punched it into the end zone. And it is now a 19-3 Warriors lead with 10 minutes and 16 seconds left.
That makes the score Crete-Monee 19, Washington 3.
Coach, response out of the Panthers, 19-3, 10 minutes left. A winner gets to go on to play East St. Louis or Lamont, as there is a fake, and that ball is tossed into the end zone, and Franklin finds number 4, Johnny Evans, and it's 21-3 with 10:16 in the 2nd quarter. The response out of Washington, Coach Crouch, the identity has been run. Do you come out now 21-3 and begin to air the football out?
I don't think you're in desperation mode yet. I still think you stick to what you do and what you're good at. But can they get push up front? Can they run between the tackles? Can they run between the guards? Right now they can't. So getting on the edge is going to be, I think, important for them. But then also mix it in the pass. If they get man coverage, there's open routes over the middle, and then getting Isaac Mapson involved. I don't think you abandon everything that you've done yet. It's 21-3. There's 10 minutes left in the 2nd quarter.
Coach Crouch, an ISU football player, so influenced by so many football coaches, including while he was at Eureka, Coach John Tolley taught him so much about offensive schemes and formations. But I think Coach Crouch's greatest strength is his ability to relate to his team, keep his team motivated, and I think it's his getting guys to play roles. A KB Scheid, a lead blocker, an offensive line that has just become so improved. We're going to see that here on this next possession, and there is a motor out of Jack Lemus. Coach, it gives me a moment to talk about a scene last week at Champaign Centennial. Jack Lemus gave up a big-time play to Champaign, about a 30-yard catch on the Washington sideline. Jack came over. Multiple coaches began coaching him up, coaching him hard, no different than what you, myself, Coach Martin, Coach Vanderhyde, Coach Stewart were doing in a basketball gym. Jack Lemus responded. Back to the game. It is now a very quick huddle. In fact, that's about the quickest I've seen Washington play this entire year. and there is carrying some dudes. About a 5-yard gain on the play. There's our first adjustment, Coach. It wasn't a play coming in. It's almost like we're in the 2-minute game already.
Yep, that great fight from Borges. There's those feet just keep moving and moving. Good push. Offensive line makes a hole. He finds it. Good job there.
We've seen this out of when we attend Washington practices. This is the 2-minute drill, and it's starting up at the 9-minute and 38-second mark of the second quarter. There is a nice push by the line. If memory serves me right, in the Kankakee game when Washington fell down, they found their identity. Washington did in that game with a much quicker pace.
Yep.
We do know that one of the packages of that 2-minute hurry-up offense is Easton Harris. We've seen him be a part of that at practices. We'll be keeping our eye out for you, the listener, and the person watching at home. If you're joining us, we much appreciate it. I'm Eric Shermorn, joined by my right-hand man, Blake Bauer, Brad Stewart on the camera, and our IT guru, Kayla Baumgarten, is right behind us, making sure this stream is working. There's play-action fake.
Got him.
Burlett. He's got Noah Hoogerwerth. Hoogerwerth, that ball is up. That ball is caught by Brock Pollitt on a tip drill, and that is the tip drill personified.
That's what a play by Pollitt. He just stays with the play. Burlett underthrew Hoogerwerth. Hoogerwerth was open early, and then Pollitt stayed with the play and made a nice catch.
Noah Hoogerwerth, 5'11", 155-pound tight end. He looked like a setter for Kerry Dowling's volleyball team. He got that nice little get underneath that set, and Pollitt came in for the kill. That penalty was on Crete. It is 21-3 as Burlett now communicates with Coach Crouch. If you're noticing the Panthers constantly looking at their wrists, they're not trying to tell what time it is. Those are plays, and the call is coming in numerically. They find the number, and they execute it. 2 wide receivers off to the left. Burlett with a pump fake. That's big Isaac Mapson, 6'5".
Got him. Oh.
That ball is incomplete. Burlett had the ball there. Ball might have been broken up at the last second. That's Mapson's compete button, though. First one up off the turf, getting right back into that huddle. And Noah, go get that big 6'5", 200-pounder of the ball again. That ball is not getting in between his paws next time.
I like what Washington's doing here. They're taking a couple shots downfield. They went run, and then they hit him with the play action. Crete's got so many guys up in the box. You get them sucked in there, they've got no help over the top.
We're enjoying the pace of this game right now. There's a power I formation. Burlett now under center. Pollitt to the right. Mapson to the left. That's a handoff to Borges. Borges up the middle. Borges in the end zone. Touchdown, Panthers. Thomas Borges, Coach Konecki talked about him. He said it starts with Borges, it ends with Borges. And that time, Borges threw a gigantic hole created by the most improved aspect of this football team, that offensive line.
There it is, and we were just talking about that, Coach, how they needed to get a bigger push and create some holes. They did it on that drive.
What I love about Darryl Crouch football teams, and as coaches, we all try to find ways to motivate kids. This Panther football team is like a kite, and they need turbulence to fly. There's huge adversity out here on this football field, but that is a response.
That's a great response.
What the Panthers need now is Todd Stevens' defense needs to buckle up, fasten their seatbelts, and they need to get themselves a stop against the Warriors.
Yeah, they've got to get a stop here, and it starts again. They cannot miss tackles. Once you have them wrapped up, you got to keep them wrapped up, and you can't lose them.
Coach Zach Davis, when asked by myself, Coach Davis, what is Panther football known for? He said, we're known for our great tackling. They're going to get this done. The Panthers are going to be called out about some arm tackling that was happening in the first quarter, and I'm sure once that happens, these kids are going to respond. Crete-Monee is one heck of a football program, but so is Washington. We're in a quarterfinal matchup, 21-10, 8 minutes and 41 seconds. And all-conference kicker Paul Sporer is on. As here we go. It's an 11-point game on a cold, cold Saturday at Golden Babcock Field in Washington, Illinois. It's a nice little lofted-up kick. Total understanding by Crete's number 3, Terry Elias, as he called for a fair catch on the kickoff.
Smart play by Terry Elias.
You know, that's the kind of play that you expect out of number 14, Jake Stewart from Washington. He's on kickoff return. I would expect to see that young lad out there go ahead and do that nice little one. He might be more or less doing that to make sure he doesn't get hit, though. So we've got Panther football, 8 minutes and 40 seconds. Todd Stevens, a master adjustment guy at halftime. This is second quarter. Panthers got to get it done. Crete's Franklin keeps it around the right. That's Phillips. Still at fumble. There's a fumble on the play. That's Hoogerwerf with the ball, and it's at the 24-yard line. E.J. Phillips forces the fumble, and the Panthers recover it. And there is a Crete player down on the ground. That is number 70, Giovanni Royo, 6'2", 245-pound sophomore. Let's hope the big man is all right, as he is being attended to right now by the Crete coaching staff. 21-10. There is now ball on the 24. Coach, I'm going to turn into Prophet. I think Daryl Crouch is quick striking here. I think he's going to say Noah, fake it to Borges, find Mapson in the corner of the end zone. The big 6'5", 200-pounder. He wants me to say 6'6", but I'm saying 6'5". I think that football is going to him right away.
And you know what? He just dropped one in the end zone. He'd be the first one to say, throw it to me again. That's the kind of competitor he is.
It was an 80-20 ball. 80% of the time he's coming down with it. Let's go now and take a look. You've got a quicker-paced Washington team. You've got adjustments already being made in quarter. We know that from the press box, iPads are being utilized. We know that all of these actions are being utilized and seen, and that is number 18, Easton Harris in the game. That is an empty set. Easton is a phenomenal baseball player. He throws 90 miles per hour, and Harris has got himself a cannon. Harris is back in the pocket. Harris airs it out. That is Mapson.
Touchdown.
Coach Bauer, Mapson with the touchdown. Easton Harris directs it to Isaac Mapson, and it is 21-16.
Good call.
Thank you, sir. That wasn't a good call up here in a press box. That's some intestinal fortitude from a sideline to put a quarterback that has not really thrown this entire year. But that's also knowing your personnel. Competitive kids make big-time plays, and Isaac Mapson is a competitor, and that ball was in his hands. Paul Sporer with the kick. It is now 21-17 with 8 minutes and 20 seconds. Turnovers are crucial in any sport.
Absolutely.
And that quarterback, Franklin, has done a lot of spectacular things on this football field, but that ball landing on the deck has given Washington definitely some energy.
Giving him some huge energy. What a play by Phillips to get his hand in there. And then Hoogerwerf, who had a pick six earlier in the year against Morton, now gets a fumble recovery to put the Panthers in prime position. They get the touchdown. 4-point game. Here we go.
It's a one-possession game. 8 minutes and 20 seconds on the clock. What was at times a dormant crowd, a very quiet crowd. You could see the sidelines for Washington. Body language did not look good when it was 14-0 or 13-0, but that has changed. I'll also credit the Washington Panther coaching staff. When it was that 4th down and 1, we were in here contemplating whether or not to go for it. Coach Crouch said, let's get points on the board. Maybe that'll settle us down.
Yep.
It's now suddenly 21-17. Again, this is deja vu. That time it's Franklin, who appears to never come off the football field. Franklin's still on his feet, and that is E.J. Phillips, who Coach Konecki talked about. Konecki talked a little bit about Phillips. He talked about number 44, Jace Harlan. The two leading tacklers on this Panther football team are two young pups out there, and we are seeing something that intrigues me, Coach. Josh Franklin plays defense, is on special teams, and is a quarterback. That is one tough nut
He is a three-way player. That's not easy as a quarterback.
Were you a three-way player at Dunlap?
I was not.
I was a one-way player. I sat on the bench. Here we go. Number two still on his feet. There's that pace that we were talking about. As Lionel Billups, 5'9", 155-pounder, that came in with 70 catches on the season. So we've seen now the go-to play, and you do what you do well. And that bubble screen off to the right, that bubble screen off to the left, is the go-to play, at least against Washington here in the first half.
It works. And what you're getting here is you're getting a hat on a hat, and
there goes Lionel Billups. Sorry to cut you off, and he is in the end zone for a quick strike. And Crete is right back on the board. It is now 27-17. Coach, talk the listeners and the viewers through that play.
So what you get there is you pretty much get a one-on-one. They've got enough blockers out there, and then they'll get a hat on a hat. And then from there, it's Billups, and he's one-on-one against whoever. And whoever, if that guy can't make the play, then he's gone. He's going to take it to the house. That's what they're banking on. They're saying, all right, here's your one-on-one situation. Break a tackle and go.
The snap, Tyrell Hester. The kick is up, and that kick went right back to where it came from. That was aimed right at the center. Let's hope that guy had on a derriere pad. So we've got 27-17 at the 7 minutes and 53-second mark here in the second quarter. And what has been an exciting first half from the standpoint of loving to watch some football, some offense. Let's get it up and go.
If you like offense, this is the game. We talked about a response from Washington. How about Crete-Monee? 2 plays and a touchdown. That's an explosive offense. Great response from them.
I could tell you about offense. This team scored 78 points. Coach Bauer, the knuckleheads that coach basketball here at Washington, we might not score 78 points in 4 games combined. And they're doing it in one football game. There is a shot clock in football, though. I take it that game clock, I consider that to be a shot clock. If I was Coach Crouch, I would take Burlette, and I would, if we had no game clock, I would just hold the ball back there on the goal line and have the crowd boo us a couple minutes.
You know what I think about Franklin, his response. And I'll talk after the play.
It was an impressive response, Coach. I know exactly where you're going. From a turnover to a kickoff return.
Yes, to a touchdown pass.
Organizing a touchdown run.
That's what a great response from him.
You got to respect, you got to love it. And oftentimes players reflect leadership. And in the 40-minute discussion that we had, Coach Konecki, there's times where you can learn so much from other people in your life. I've never met the man personally, but just speaking to him for 40 minutes on the phone, his players are mirroring the personality that we heard on that other line.
Yep. And now what I love to see is how are the Panthers going to respond again? Now you cut the lead to 4, a 1-score game. They push it back to 2 scores. How do we respond here?
Rev it up, Thomas Borges. Offensive line creates some holes. And let's see if Coach Crouch now does a little misdirect play. There's Borges on the run. There is that play. And Borges is brought down. Crete was expecting it. When we were talking Crete and we were prepping for this game, I was almost floored when he told me that his kids do not watch much game film.
Right.
What were your thoughts when you heard that?
I was shocked as well. I feel like film is such a huge tool, and it's not underused. A lot of teams watch a lot of film, but generally, I think that saying is the film doesn't lie. You can tell a kid, hey, you're not playing hard. You're not playing hard. You're not doing this. But when you see it on film, there it is. There's nowhere to hide from it.
Washington's coaching staff gets film Saturday night, typically right now in playoffs. Sunday, their coaching staff watches that film, and they watch it religiously. And then Monday, they put it in. And I know a lot of these Panther football players watch a ton of film, hopefully preparing themselves for a victory here on Saturday. Borges is brought down as that was a missile coming in. That was Karan Mines, number 24, lengthy, cerebral, and very quick on the ball. Crete does a nice job of swarming that football. Oftentimes there's 3, 4, 5, 6 guys that are around that ball.
And that's that closing speed they have. You think you have a hole, you think you have space, and all of a sudden that speed they're there.
What's the counter offensively to a team that pursues the football with such vigor?
Well, I think you're going to have to go misdirect. And I think throwing the ball right now is working for the Panthers.
He's got 2 men in front of him. Let's see if Bescheid stays in the block. They do, giving him plenty of time as that ball is broken up by number 2 on the play. That's Lionel Billups. That pass was intended for number 1, Isaac Mapson, who already has a touchdown catch, 22 receptions on the year, 7 touchdowns on the year. It is now 4th down and 7 at the 6 minute and 7 second mark here in the second quarter. as Paul Spohr, first-team all-conference kicker in the Mid-Illini, is on to punt. It's a good snap. The kick is a beauty. The wind definitely holds that ball up. We're inside of a nice,
Good
toasty
roll.
press box. But, Coach, that ball virtually died up there
Yep.
in the air. You could see the wind must be swirling in here. Need to give a shout-out to who's on the field right now. That's ball boy, superintendent's son, Will Freeman. If you can see old number 49 out there, Will Freeman. About 6 years ago, Will Freeman was my two-guard, an incredible lockdown defender for about a fourth-grade traveling team. Way to go, Will. So the Panthers now lining up. Quick strike Crete. They waste no time. There's that bubble screen out to Lionel Billups again. By the time Billups is done today, he might be up over 80, 90 catches on the season, of course. Billups is catching that ball oftentimes in that bubble screen scenario. Coach, is this Washington, and I'm not playing ignorant here, does Washington football play man-to-man in the secondary, or are we more of a zone team? Talk us through it.
Yeah, you're gonna see man, and then right here they've got zone coverage over the
Franklin rolling out to the left. Franklin with tons of time. Franklin still with the ball. Franklin still on his feet. Franklin airs the ball out 50-50, and it's incomplete. There is a flag on the play. Franklin probably took a good 7, 8, 9 seconds in the pocket. Rolled to the left, came back to the right. And the call, according to Whitehat, is holding against Crete. Where we stand right now is 2nd down and 11. The Panthers will decline the penalty, creating a 3rd down and long for Crete. 3rd down and 11. They are yet to move the marker. Now it's moved to the number 3, so it is 3rd down and 11. Keep in mind, the last time we saw a 4th and 11, Franklin was on a called scramble, a shotgun keeper, if you will. Franklin back in the pocket. He's got plenty of time again. Franklin still on his feet. Franklin shifty, and he's knocked to the ground. He went airborne for a second. That was E.J. Phillips, the Panthers' leading tackler, that came in and tripped up Josh Franklin.
Gain on the play to the 33-yard line.
It is 4th down. 4th down and about 8 for Crete. Franklin is still on the field. Surely, Coach Power, surely this will be a punt.
I believe he's the punter, right?
Of course he is. He also drove the bus here
Right.
today. So Franklin with the kick. It was a quick kick. It's a line drive kick, but it took a huge warrior bounce as that ball goes out of bounds at the 20. That deep side with his hands on his head was Coach Power as that kick found a way just to keep on trickling down the field.
I'll give Franklin credit. That was a heck of a kick. He does it all. He punts, he returns kicks, he throws, he runs.
Coach,
I don't know.
Coach, he's coming up in the press box to take the camera job on after this. So the diversity of this young man is something. If he's on a basketball court, he'd be playing 1 through 5 for us. And Crete is already on the field. I've been impressed with this, too. These kids don't leave the field. You saw out there that we were in between change of possession, and Crete's offense was out there 2 seconds later. Does that go back to the way that they practice? They talked about how they practice in 5-minute segments, and it truly mimics a fast-paced basketball practice where you don't do the same thing for 30 straight minutes.
Absolutely, and that's what Coach Konecki said. You know, we do one thing for 5 to 7 minutes, and then we move on. So they shift gears fast, and I think that's probably got them in really good physical condition. And that's when you got guys playing both ways. Coach Konecki knows you got to be in great physical shape.
Big possession here for the Panthers. 2nd down and 12. 4 minutes on the clock. Noah Burlett now checking his wristband as Coach Crouch has called the play. The man next to Coach Crouch, Coach Rob Garcia, talks to the wide receivers. Coach Wisher's down there talking to his offensive lineman. That's Power Eye. Burlett gives it to Thomas Borges, and Borges is brought down fairly quickly behind the line, and it's going to be 3rd down and about 10, maybe 11 for the Panthers. Cade Bescheid, who coming into this season was definitely talked about as a linebacker to keep your eyes on, but has also accepted the role of being a lead blocker from the fullback position. Borges, in a Peoria Journal-Star article, what a humble young man he is, giving tons of credit not only to Cade Bescheid, but giving tons of credit to those 5 offensive linemen in front of him.
And Thomas is a total team player. He knows that. He knows that if without those offensive linemen, those holes wouldn't be there. So he knows to give credit where credit is due. And that doesn't take anything away from Thomas, though, because he makes a lot happen after the line of scrimmage.
Borges is 5'9", 165 pounds. He made the statement that he's put on about 20 pounds, so he must have ran last year at 145. Yeah. How he made it through that season is beyond me. Good for him. He's a tough man.
He is tough.
There is a fake on a nice little jet sweep. That is Borges, and Borges goes and gets that football, and there is Josh Franklin trying to yank it away from him, as was number 24, Karan Mines. But Borges with the play, that kind of looked like Mitchell Trubisky coming out of the pocket, rolling out to the right, except no one made the complete pass.
They did. I was going to say Jack Cohn or Tyler Buckner from Notre Dame.
And I'm going to stay with Mitchell Trubisky. Who's Notre Dame got today, Coach
Virginia
Bauer?
Tonight, 6:30.
Woo, the Cavaliers.
So you see Borges there coming out of the backfield on a wheel route. You get Burlett out of the pocket, and nice completion.
I love the talk. Coach, who founded Virginia? Thomas Jefferson, Coach Bauer. That's Easton Harris now, your quarterback, and that's Harris handing off to Borges, and Borges with a gain of 1. Coach, you do know who Thomas Jefferson is.
I do.
Tell me a little bit about Thomas Jefferson.
You put me on the spot now.
Okay.
Let's talk about Thomas Borges.
There we go. So we've got 2nd down and 8, 2 minutes on the clock, 27-17, Warrior lead, quarterfinal football. Winner will advance to play Lamont and powerhouse East St. Louis, who has surrendered only 2 points to an Illinois team this year. So the lucky winner will probably get East St. Louis. That's Borges stepping up, airing that ball out. That's Tyler Richardson, and a phenomenal play by number 4, Johnny Evans. Tyler Richardson is down on the ground.
I hope he's all right. He got hit pretty hard.
Tyler Richardson last year, I can recall a game where he was listed as doubtful. It's not like high school football teams have IRs and doubtful and questionable like a fantasy football roster.
Yep.
But we were on the inside. The coaches told us most likely he was not playing. Do you remember that game, Coach? And then, lo and behold, we look up, and at last year, I believe he was number 7 or number 8. He wasn't number 3. Right. And Tyler Richardson was playing. He's a tough kid. Let's hope that he's going to be all right.
He took a pretty good shot. I think that was Billups that came over the top from safety position.
So with Tyler Richardson, it's a great opportunity to talk about every coaching staff, every football team, every athletic team here at Washington. We are so lucky, so fortunate to have one of the best that you can possibly have. That's Kyle Gernard. Kyle Gernard spent some time with the Chicago Bears, a small-town football player. We oftentimes talk a lot about his past. He's got some great stories about the Chicago Bears. And Kyle is compassionate, but Kyle's like having a coach, because when a kid can play, he's going to be the one that looks him in the eyes and says, you're going to play.
Yep.
But when a kid can't play and Kyle says a kid can't play, that kid most definitely cannot play. So it's 3rd down and 8. It's good to see T-Rich up. He's buckled over on the sidelines right now, but he is standing up over his own power. That's senior leader, middle linebacker Brock Skaggs, who was injured just before the Metamora game last year, right there with him. Daryl Crouch, 17-year veteran, is going to call his first time out. 1 minute, 29 seconds, 27-17. Coach Bauer, I'm not trying to be the guy that's being funny here. I do think you have to be careful. It's 3rd down and 8 with 1 minute 29. Crete's got all 3 timeouts, and their average time possession, I'd be making up if I knew it, but it's probably been like 1 minute to 2 minutes that they've had a football on their 4 scoring drives.
I mean, Coach, their touchdown drives, they had 1 long touchdown drive, their 3rd one, but their first 2 touchdown drives, I think, were 3 plays or 4 plays maybe, and then their last one was 2 plays. So they can score in a hurry, and yes, you got to be smart here about how much time you leave them if they get the ball back.
You got to try to get a first down.
You do, yep.
Reset that clock and go get some points.
Yep.
Now, we did see a Paul Sporer punt earlier going this direction that virtually came to a halt when it hit its peak. That will have to be in the back of Darryl Crouch's mind, too, as we're approaching field goal range. And Sporer field goal range on a given day is in the 40s, it looks like, for us, as we've seen him all season. So Burlett under shotgun. He's got a man to the right, 2 wide receivers to the right, 2 wide receivers to the left. That is Mapson and that is Pollitt, the intended men typically. And that is 4 Crete-Monee players. And the first one in on that one is number 51. That's Xavier Slayton, 6'3", 245-pounder.
Yeah, and they just swarmed the quarterback there, and they just pushed that offensive line back. Borges was unable to step up in the pocket.
Slayton is a younger brother of Chris Slayton that went to Syracuse, played for the Giants, Bills, Falcons, and Steelers. The ultimate compliment to Xavier Slayton is Coach Konecki was talking about you always want your teams to mimic you, to mimic your coaching staff. He spoke so glowingly about his coaching staff and how there were no egos and how he's got an assistant that was from USC, an assistant from Wisconsin. He's got Division I guys and guys that have played at the highest level of football all around him. But Coach Konecki talked about hard hat and lunch pail. I think both of these teams are those kinds of football teams.
Absolutely, they are. They're built on toughness. Both of them are. And you can see it now in the way they play, just from their responses from things. I mean, look, listen, this was a 21-3 game. Could have easily been out of reach. Could have easily had a team that just rolled over and quit. And what happens? Now it's a 10-point game. They've showed a lot of fight. They've made some big plays. And then Crete gets knocked down, and what do? Step right back up, get a touchdown. So both of these teams are built on toughness.
4th down and 19. Paul Sporer on to kick. Crete is expecting to return this. Washington has had multiple fake punts. That ball is a line drive kick, perhaps by purpose. Coach, I heard that chuckle. That is Josh Franklin. That is a block. That is an incredible block. And let's hope the Washington Panther is all right on the sideline. This could be, that is definitely a penalty on Crete. Coach, that is a young man that fell very quickly on that sideline. Let's hope he's all right. I do not have a number. And he is already up on his feet. That block came out of absolutely nowhere and picked him up off of his feet.
I couldn't tell. Did he step out of bounds, or did they give?
He did step out of bounds. That is Jack Lemus. Jack Lemus with his helmet off. Jack Lemus is a center fielder on a baseball team that finished 4th in state. That's Kyle Gannart walking him off currently, and he is holding him as he is walking him off. Jack Lemus is a warrior.
He is. You're going to get an illegal blindside block here.
That was a scary play.
Yep.
That was definitely a scary play, and it's great to see Jack right now walking off under his own power. Washington is going to respond to this. Last night, Coach, I was watching a special on Showtime about Kevin Garnett. Surely you've heard of Kevin Garnett from Farragut. And he walked into an NBA tryout, and he said that Coach Pat Riley couldn't believe that a high school kid was coming to an NBA tryout. And Riley just continued to make the comments that, why is this kid here? Why is this kid here? And Kevin Garnett said for 90 minutes, a one-on-one workout all by himself with an NBA coach, he channeled all of that and played as hard as he can. We've all been athletes before. We've coached a long time. You just had a teammate get lit up like that, walk off of and under his power. Can this be something that might be able to ignite the Panthers, especially with 1 minute left, but especially going into halftime?
Absolutely, it should. I mean, this is, you play for your teammates. When you see your teammate get hit like that and go to the sidelines and, that should fire you up a little bit. That maybe ignites something in you to play a little bit harder, play a little bit faster, go make a play for him.
1st down and 10 for Crete. 1 minute even on the clock. 10-point lead for Crete. Number 4, Johnny Evans in motion. Franklin allows him to come to a rest. That's number 15 in motion now, Hampton. And that ball is kicked off to Evans, and Evans is brought down by Tyler Richardson, who was on the sideline earlier. There's definitely something that's hurting Richardson. He doesn't show pain very often, but he's in on the tackle. Second down and about 3, maybe 2 for Crete. They've got 3 wide receivers to the top of the screen, 1 to the bottom of the screen. Running back off to the side. Franklin rolls out to the right. He's got a man going deep. Franklin fumbles the football, picked up by Chance Joseph. They are calling that an incomplete pass, as that ball was virtually dropped on the ground by Franklin. It'll bring up third down, but there is a flag in the middle of the field. 25.6 seconds left. Second quarter of action, quarterfinal football, Washington, Illinois. Crete-Monee coming into this game as the number 6 ranked team in the state, looking right now to advance, and the Panthers looking to advance themselves, the number 9 ranked team in the state, coming in with a record of 9-2. The penalty was waved off. We do have an update. Morton 21, Muhammad Seymour 14. Seth Glatz in the first half, Morton's running back, 218 total yards, 3 TDs already. Crete has 2 running backs there, and there is a flag on the play. It is going to be a false start by Crete as they are going backwards. Third down and 7. 25 seconds still on the clock. We had the privilege of watching Seth Glatz live here at Babcock Field. He is a leading rusher in the state of Illinois. That man is a human highlight film when he gets that football in the backfield.
He's a heck of a player.
Second down and 7, 25 seconds left. Washington looking for a big stop. Bishai pursuing Franklin. Franklin on the go. Franklin was close to the line of scrimmage, and that ball is incomplete. It will bring up a third down and 7 on the play. Bishai was pursuing Franklin, and if Bishai was running after me in the hallways, I would go into the fetal position. So we've got fourth down now, 4th down and 7, 15 seconds on the clock. The bus driver, the punter, the quarterback, the kick returner, the DB, and now suddenly the punter is out on the field. Josh Franklin, 15 seconds left, 17 seconds. That ball is off to the right and going out of bounds at about the 35-yard line. 8 seconds left. Do the Panthers just simply take a knee, go into halftime,
Yes.
make adjustments?
Yep. I think you go into halftime down 10. Figure out what you want to do defensively and offensively, make your adjustments, and then I believe the Panthers get the ball to start the second half, correct?
Correct. Sorry for the dramatic pause there. It is now 8 seconds left. Washington huddled up, down by 10. Adjustments are always something fun to watch, especially on a Sunday afternoon. I love watching NFL football to see how teams change up. I know you're a Notre Dame guy. I'm sure you love watching Notre Dame's adjustments. We will most definitely talk about those at halftime. Noah Burlett hands off to Borges. Borges is up the middle, and Borges picks up about 5. That will do it now. That will complete the first half play. We had some highlight plays. We had some hitting. We had some physical football. We had big plays. We had smash it out. Coach, this is Elite 8 football, quarterfinal football. I don't think we could have asked much more from a standpoint of just watching some good football.
Yeah, you're right. And what a fun game atmosphere to be a part of. You got big-time players on the field for both teams, and they're playing big time right now. So it's been fun to watch.
Ladies and gentlemen, we are going to take a 5-minute pause. We will be back in 5 minutes. We'll break down the first half, talk a little bit of stats. So we will be back in 5 minutes. Welcome back to quarterfinal football. Thank you for watching and listening here in the first half. If you are just joining us, there is about 2 minutes left before this game begins. Second half football. Crete-Monee jumped on the board early with 13 points. 13 points. Washington answered with a field goal by Paul Spohr, making it 13-3. It's time to talk statistics. Let's turn it over first and take a look at Crete. Coach, Crete, an explosive football team, running virtually the same play over and over and over again to success. That bubble screen.
Yep.
Break down the quarterback stats and the wide receiver stats.
All right, so Franklin is 11 for 15 through the air. That's efficient, and he's also got 7 carries for 56 yards. His favorite target coming in was number 2, Lionel Billups, and Billups has 9 catches for 126 yards and 2 touchdowns.
So Lionel Billups, who Coach Konecki talked about with his 70 catches coming into this game, definitely was a focal point for Crete. Coach Todd Stevens is an adjustment guy. He's a guy that watches so much film. What adjustments might Coach Stevens make to try to take away that bubble screen?
Well, you got to maybe send more guys over, and really, like I said earlier, it comes down to wrapping up and making plays. You got to wrap up, no more arm tackles, get him stopped, and when you got a chance to make a play one-on-one, make it.
Thomas Borges came into this game just 86 yards behind legendary Hall of Fame Kenny Hopp. And Thomas Borges' breakdown in the first half, where is he sitting right now?
He's got 9 carries for 44 yards.
So Crete talked about Borges needing to stop Borges, and they have done everything in their power to take away the dynamic running back. Noah Burlett's numbers and Easton Harris.
Burlett is 4 for 8, and then Easton Harris is 1 for 1 with that touchdown pass to Isaac Mapson. And Mapson's got 1 catch, 24 yards, which is the touchdown pass.
So a Washington football program that has been in the playoffs every single year under Darryl Crouch since 2007. They are a 9-time quarterfinal football team trying to find a way to get into that Final Four action against the winner of East St. Louis and Lamont. Crete-Monee with an incredible legacy background. Coach Konecki has brought nothing but winning to this football team. He has been a product of Brother Rice as a high school athlete himself. Bishop McNamara, Marion, Homewood, Flossmoor. He knew what he was doing when he came to Crete in 2012, a championship. These are 2 phenomenal football teams with great legacies, great traditions. I can't wait for the second half.
I'm excited as well. And the first half was fun, especially if you like offense. A lot of points, 27 for Crete, 17 for Washington. You had it stretched there where it felt like touchdown, touchdown, touchdown. It was fun to watch, and it was fun to see these teams respond to each other's scores.
Coach Crouch predicted that Crete would give them tons of motion. He predicted that there would be different formations, different quarterbacks, different alignments. Then he predicted that this was a football team that was going to try to play on the edges, get around the outside. Have his predictions become true?
They have been true. They've run formations. They've gotten on the edge. But really, Coach, they've run about 3 or 4 plays. They've been running the same play, that bubble screen, over and over again. And if it's not broke, don't fix it. Keep going at it.
I didn't come to Washington until 2005, 2006 to live here. And Coach Brown brought me on his staff in 2006, 2007. I never got to see legendary coach John Venturi, who coached from 1979 to 1998. But from what I heard about Coach Venturi, he would have 4 plays, and he would run 2 to the right, he'd run 2 to the left, and just pound it down your throats. I know we're not watching that, but I think there might be that old adage, that cliche, it's not quantity, it's quality, and do what you can and do it as well as you can. It doesn't have to be 500 different things.
Right, exactly. It doesn't have to be a lot, but just do what you're good at and do it well. Sometimes, less is more.
So the men up in the press box, Zach Davis and Aaron Davis, veterans of press box activity. They are the eyes in the sky. I love getting on the inner side and the inner dynamics of what might happen at halftime. They join the football staff in the locker room. The sideline coaches, they all collect together. For 5, 6, 7 minutes, they bring in all of these different eyeballs, all of these different thoughts. They mesh out adjustments, and then they come out, and their football team typically executes. It is probably the greatest weapon Washington has outside of phenomenal kids that are so dedicated. What adjustments do you predict Washington will make on offense?
Well, I think they've probably got to start going to the air a little bit. I think it's open down the field, and you've got some receivers who have made some plays. Mapson needs to get a little bit more involved, and I think you can get him involved with the pass game. And then some misdirection stuff with Borges. You know, it may not be straight power run, but it may be a counter. Some misdirection things with some motion thrown in there to kind of throw off Crete-Monee.
We saw Washington out of that jet motion play with Pollitt, and Borges runs that misdirect. That had been so successful for 5, 6, 7 weeks in a row. Crete snuffed that one out pretty fast. I do know that Washington is here to return. Would it surprise you if Crete-Monee came out in the kickoff that we have seen on some game film with 3 or 4 guys acting like they're going to kick it? Would it surprise you if they onside kicked here? 27-17, 12 minutes. I know that Washington's coaching staff talked about how their special teams was so unpredictable, how they would do things at moments where nobody would predict it. Or are they just going to kick it off normal with a 10-point lead?
I think they'll just kick it off normal with a 10-point lead, I do.
Always playing it safe over there, Coach Bauer, and he is right. So here we go, second half football, quarterfinals, IHSA State. It's great to be back. It's great to be live, and it's great to be watching right now here at Babcock Field. And the Panthers bring it out to the 35. Senior leader, Noah Burlett, tutored as a sophomore, tutored as a junior. JV football was the calling card last year. Noah Burlett under Coach Aaron Davis. Coach Crouch said that he developed him and got him ready to go. And now he's out there on the field. He's ready to go, and he's ready to play. Down by 10 with 11 minutes and 51 seconds here in the third quarter. The Panthers are looking for a comeback to put themselves in the Final Four at state.
They are, and you can't get it all at once. You got to sustain a nice drive here.
And the first adjustment we see is heavy out of the Panthers. No spread, 2 fullbacks and a tailback. That's Borges on the handoff. Borges to the left, and Borges picks up 5. Coach Konecki talked about death by 1,000 cuts. He does not want to see Washington get into heavy action and pound that football between the tackles. And now we see Washington responding with that.
Yep. Good run for Borges to start. 5 yards a pop. That's what you need. You need to get him 5, 6, 7 yards a carry where he is on his season average.
Burlett under center. Burlett with the handoff. Borges hit immediately in the backfield. It will be 3rd down and 5. 3rd down and 5 for the Panthers. The spread package now onto the football field. Mapson and Pollitt, Hydebreeder on the field. Bescheid coming off. Also coming off the field, number 42, Connor Rose. So from the heavy package, heavy with fullbacks and tight ends, now to the spread formation. Coach Crouch looking over his play card. Panthers start to look at their wristbands. Burlett now out of the shotgun. He's got wide receivers to the left, wide receivers to the right. Crete brings up blitzing action in the middle of the field. That's right now 8 coming at Burlett. Burlett got just enough time, and he shoots high as that pass is incomplete to Pollitt. Crete brought the heat that time. Multiple linebackers coming up the middle. Burlett did have time, just didn't complete the pass.
Yeah, that was a tough throw. Good coverage there on Pollitt and really good coverage around the rest of the field. So that would have been a tough throw to complete, but he did have some time to get the ball off.
So Burlett now off the field. Paul Sporer on to kick. And Sporer is ready. There's the kick. It is an end over end. And that ball takes a nice Washington bounce. And the Warriors now will pick up at 10 minutes in the third, 27-17. Panthers defense on the field, down by 10 and looking for a big stop here in the third quarter. A 3-and-out is how Washington started this game. A 3-and-out is how they come out in the second half. And Washington is going to need to slow down this dynamic offense that has shown discipline, grit, and definitely has shown speed around the edges. There's motion on the outside. That's Chance Joseph. That's Josh Franklin keeping it. He busted out to the left. He's got a block in front. He is still on his feet, and Franklin steps out of bounds. A nice block by the outside wide receiver on the play. That's number 15. Hampton, 6'2", 165, an intended target earlier in the first half that just missed a sensational catch that now shows he's got some multidimensional skills out there as he blocked.
And that's an unselfish play by wide receivers. Wide receivers want to catch the ball and go with it, and you see Billups downfield as well. You know what? That's getting your quarterback into space, and that's just really blocking for him downfield. That's unselfish.
Out of the shotgun, that was Evans in motion. Franklin keeps it. Franklin with a stiff arm. Bishai pushes him out of bounds. And with the tackle, the chain gang. Nice job on the sideline there. It is a second down in about 2 or 3. 10 minutes even, third quarter. Temperature about 37 degrees. It is definitely a chilly one here. If you come to Babcock Field for Metamora, if you come here for a Morton game, you're looking at 4, 5, 6, sometimes 7,000 people. Definitely not that large of a crowd here today, but a good crowd, and that ball is completed on the sideline. There is our first, I would consider, tangible adjustment. There had to be 5, 6, 7 Panthers over on that bubble screen.
And I think it was Hugerworth that came over and made the tackle, the defensive end. Great pursuit on his play. He knew, on his part, he knew where it was going. But you see Crete start the second half like they started the first half. 2 runs from the quarterback into that bubble screen to Billups. Now let's see what they do here.
So it is third down and 9. Franklin out of the shotgun, 2 wide receivers to the right. Franklin's got time in the pocket, slings it off to the left, and that pass is complete. The chemistry between Billups and Franklin is definitely there as that ball is hauled in for a first down.
Tackle by 88, Carball, gain on the play, down 2.
And Franklin's got some time to throw there. Good job. A group we haven't talked a lot about with Crete is the offensive line. We talked a lot about the skill positions, but good job from them. They're giving him time to throw.
Sometimes the best compliment to the offensive line is the fact that you're not talking about him. He has been protected this entire night. There is a rare handoff to Chance Joseph, and Joseph explodes up the middle for a gain of 9 on the play. The pace is so important to the coaching staff of the Warriors because this is a fast action, call the play in, get the play off, and there is now a different running back. That is Chance Joseph, who explodes through the middle, and a touchdown for the Warriors. It is now 33-17 from passing in the first half to back-to-back runs now for number 28, Chance Joseph, the 5'11", 180-pound senior running back. And the Warriors are on the board again, 33-17. 2-point conversion. Franklin drops back, looks at Joseph at the left. He is under duress, puts the ball up in the end zone, and it is incomplete. And the score will remain 33-17 as the Panther offense will prepare themselves to be back on the field.
Score remains Crete-Monee 33, Washington 17.
When you get this deep into a playoff run, when you get to this part of the playoffs, health is absolutely positively everything. The football season can be a grind. The things that a high school football athlete goes through to put himself in a great scenario to be out there. Washington, we have not talked about it, but did lose a gigantic piece to this puzzle. Number 4, Drew Lewis, a Division I athlete being recruited right now, basketball and football, with a high ankle sprain 2 weeks ago. Not on the football field. You've got a lot of guys playing in roles. Brock Skaggs lost to injury, a torn ACL. It has been an absolute joy and still is right now. It's next man up mentality. We got a lot of kids battling out there, from Jace Harlan and T. Rich playing in different positions. 33-17. I remind the listeners that it was 28-14. Washington was winning just a few years ago when the Warriors came back with a 35-28 victory. Let's see if the table can be reversed. And there with a bring down for the Warriors, number 15 on the play, wrapping up is Hampton as he brings down number 21 for Washington. That was Zachary Hireman, 5'7" sophomore. Coach Crouch huddles up his boys on the sidelines. Washington back on the field. We saw hurry-up action in the first half. Probably going to see hurry up.
I thought it
action
worked
now.
well. That's what we were talking about at halftime. Was it worked well? The last 3 possessions for the Panthers, you're looking at 3 punts. So this is a drive where they really need to make something happen. And with that hurry-up offense, I think you get Crete a little bit on their heels, which maybe allows Mapson to come in and make a play here.
Burlett with the play action. That ball is up in the air, and that ball is intercepted on the play, deflected by a D lineman. And number 55, that's Bryce Bennett, 5'11", 190-pounder. He came up in the coaching interviews earlier this week. Cerebral, long, just goes and does his job and does his job very well.
Yep.
He's a recipient of a deflected pass.
And defensive linemen, I know they're always taught to get their hands up on the pass, and stuff like that can happen. And if you can get a ball in the air, a tipped ball in the air, then you have a great chance to make an interception, and a good play by Crete.
So Franklin is back on the field now with his offense. Fake handoff. That's an RPO, and he keeps that football. And Franklin scampers for a first down. Coach Konecki quoted saying, "If I've said it once, I've said it 100 times." It's like watching Allen Iverson play quarterback. He is dangerous. He is very dangerous. And he's got dance moves out there.
He does.
He is a stop, go, shifty, left, right. I bet this guy might have a basketball in his hand. He'd be a dynamic point guard with his pace of play. Franklin under center now, actually out of the shotgun. Trips to the right. It is first down and 10. Ball on the 21. Handoff to the bell cow. That's what they called him. That's Chance Joseph with a gain of 2 or 3. I really enjoy watching Joseph play. He's a tough kid that's not scared to get hit and keeps on going after contact.
He's a tough runner. He finds the hole, and he's got some finesse in there too. He can kind of turn on the speed, so he's not all power, but he's not all finesse. So he's got a good mix of both.
Harlan, Phillips, and Bescheid, 3 tenacious, tough-nosed linebackers. Let's see if a play can be made right now. There it is again. There's Bescheid on cue as he comes in through the middle of that. That's also number 42 out there, Connor Rose, 5'11", 190-pound senior on the tackle. This is third down and 8, 7 minutes.
This is a big play, and you got to imagine if Crete doesn't get it, they're probably going to go for it. This is a huge possession here for the Panthers. Huge play.
2 down territory, most likely for the Warriors. Franklin out of the shotgun. That pass is caught. And a touchdown. A touchdown by number 4. Touchdown by Johnny Evans. There is a flag on the play. We'll have to wait for the official announcement from the referee and crew. That flag came in prior to him crossing. Mm-hmm. We definitely saw some celebratory acts before he got into the actual end zone.
And you can see things are getting a little chippy out there between some of the players from both sides.
Unsportsmanlike penalty against the Warriors.
Penalty is unsportsmanlike conduct against.
Again, unsportsmanlike conduct against the Warriors. We are waiting for confirmation right now. The scoreboard still reads 33-17. It is a touchdown. It is a touchdown for number 4 on the pass from Franklin. Johnny Evans is the one that crossed the goal line. It's now 39-17. And the penalty will be enforced on the kickoff. 39-17, 6 minutes and 36 seconds remaining. And the Warrior lead has grown in the opening minutes of the third quarter. Their response out of halftime was quick strike and very, very lightning-like out there on the field. Franklin now out of the shotgun. Joseph in motion. He runs, he passes. That ball is deflected and is incomplete. And the score remains 39-17 as the Panthers need to find a way now to get back on that board, swing that momentum the other direction, and continue to battle against a high-scoring Southland Conference opponent.
Absolutely.
Who's averaging 40 points coming in.
Yep, and they're 1 point under that season average. But, again, if you're Washington, just keep, you got to keep chipping away here. You got to have a good possession. With the last 4 possessions now, 3 punts and an interception, got to put some points on the board. They've proven they can score. Now they just got to go out and do it.
The coaching staff for the Warriors is a coaching staff that has such depth. You know, we talked about at the very beginning of this broadcast about some of the things that happen on that sideline. A quarterback coach, Quincy Woods, at USC, he's from Rich East. His senior year, he threw for 2,240 yards. You got a Marian Catholic alum, Greg Murray, the running back coach, played at the University of Oklahoma. How about Rory Lee, playing for Barry Alvarez at Wisconsin? But I loved how Coach talked about how he talked about the humility of the coaching staff and how they were just all very much about, this is my role, this is what we're going to do, and when the decisions are going to be made, we're all going to agree upon that. That's the exact same thing on the other side of the football with Darryl Crouch and his staff. As there is a kick that's going to find the middle, there is Thomas Borges picking it up off the bounce, and Borges is slammed to the ground. That's number 23 on the tackle. That's Elijah Grayer, 5'7" junior. And the Panthers now will need a response.
They do. Great field position to start this drive on their own 45.
So as Washington came out heavy on their first possession, it was a 3-and-out. We then saw Burlett go out of the shotgun, spread him out a little bit more. He was definitely under duress. They turned up the heat a little bit. We'll have to really watch now the defense here for the Warriors to see exactly how aggressive they are going to be. They were been bringing pressure all game, but let's see if they dial that up a notch. You've got an extra tight end now. That's Easton Harris as quarterback. That is Borges in motion. Harris hands off to Borges, and Borges is wrapped up in the backfield, as that is number 4. I've called his name often tonight, Johnny Evans, who's been a quarterback, who's been on defense. He's been a little bit of everything.
Yep.
There was a penalty on the play, as this game in the first half was fairly clean from the standpoint of penalties. That has been Washington's Achilles heel early in the season, but the young men on the Panthers sideline have really done a nice job of playing disciplined football, especially these past couple weeks here in the playoffs. And it's been a relatively clean game here until the last about 3 or 4 minutes, and we've come to a grinding halt as the officials either are like penguins right now in Antarctica, huddled up all the time trying to stay warm, or maybe they're trying just to decipher exactly what's happened. Penalty is against the Panthers. It's going to push them backwards.
Illegal participation penalty against the Panthers.
Illegal participation penalty against Washington will bring up now a very, very long first down and 25. 6 minutes and 20 seconds. Illegal participation. Coach Wisher must have gotten out there and tried to catch himself a pass. So we've got first down and 25, 6 minutes on the clock, 39-17. The winner advances to the Final Four. Tremendous seasons for both football teams, and we still got a quarter and a half of football left. That's Easton Harris. Harris showing off that arm. He had Pollett, and that pass falls incomplete. That was enjoyable to watch. That ball had a little air underneath it, probably about a 30, 35-yard pass.
Yep. Good ball from Harris. It just overshot his receiver, but good pass. That's a tough role to come into. I mean, you've been on the bench for a while. You've only thrown one pass today. That's a tough spot to come in, but that was a nice-looking ball.
Coach, have you ever tried to hit a 90-mile-per-hour fastball?
No.
That is what Easton Harris throws. The only way I would get in the batter's box against a 90-mile-per-hour fastball is if you gave me body armor, full helmets. I would want, like, cushions and pads all around me. I don't even know if I'd go in there with a bat. I might want a glove on both hands just in case he accidentally threw it at me. That's Noah Burlett back in. And now we come right back at him with a bubble screen on that side. Brock Pollett across picks up about 7 or 8. But remember, it was second down and 25. This will bring up a third down and very long for the Panthers. 5 minutes and 30 seconds on the clock.
Yeah, when you start first and 25, Coach, your playbook gets much smaller.
So it is officially listed as third down and 19. Ball is on the 36. Noah Burlett shotgun. 3 wide receivers up to the right. This is Spencer Highbreeder down here by himself on the left. Burlett is hit and hit hard. That pass is completed to number 19 on the play. That's Evan Grazier, 6 foot, 155-pound senior on the catch. And that is good enough for a Panther first down. There is a flag. Burlett was hit hard after the play. It appeared that the Warrior defender led with his helmet, and it is roughing the passer. Burlett stood in the pocket, knew he was going to get hit. He's shaking the cobwebs out right now, but he completed the pass.
Good throw from Burlett. Good touch. Great touch over the top. And he found his open man, Evan Grazier, and good catch. And first down for the Panthers. Now let's see if they can kind of build on that play. You know, you start 1st and 25. The playbook gets small. Great job to overcome that. First down at what looks like the Crete 26. So now you're in striking distance here.
23-yard reception for Grazier. There is a flag thrown from the Warrior sideline. That is a sideline official that just flew a flag. That is now going to be a sideline penalty against the Warriors. So without Washington throwing a ball or running a ball, they have picked up 30 yards now, I believe, Coach, in the span of about 45 seconds. A roughing the passer, a sideline violation, and that must be a warning.
I think it's
first.
A warning to start.
The Panther offensive team now calling in the play. You can see all the Panthers staring at the sideline. As Burlett now relays it back, it's first down and 10, ball on the 26, 5 minutes on the clock. Panthers are losing 39-17 to the 6th-ranked team in the state. There's a delayed handoff, a draw up the middle, Burgess running hard, and Burgess is picking up 9 yards on the play. Burgess only needed 40-some-odd yards to become second all-time in the season for rushing as he is attempting to pass Kenny Hopp. But I will be the first one to tell you that Thomas Burgess would surrender any sort of record if Washington could find a way to come back against the Warriors.
Good run from Burgess there on the little delay. You get spread. So you take all your defenders or your defensive backs, you get them spread out. You might get a linebacker out there. Then it's looked like one-on-one inside with Burgess and a linebacker.
Burlett with the handoff to Burgess. Burgess around the outside. A good block by Mapson. And Burgess is going to be first down and 10 for the Panthers as a nice sustained block from Isaac Mapson. Earlier we saw Hampton for the Warriors, 6'2" wide receiver with the block. Mapson shows that he too has a toolbox that can do things other than just catch a ball. Football, that team sport, it's that ultimate role-playing sport. Offensive linemen that get in the trenches, do the dirty work that seldom get talked about. Jordan Martin, a center that's played 5, 6, 7 different positions since his freshman year. He's been the starting center every single snap of this season. He's doing the job, and now you've got Noah Burlett as that offensive line is surging ahead a little bit better here on this drive. As you could see that the Warriors were pushed off that line by about 2 or 3 yards. We are in the goal line, Coach. It is now second down and goal from about the 6. Washington going to pound that thing in. Washington going to Mapson.
This is the area where you can see Mapson. And you've also got number 15, Spencer Highbreeder, on the other side of the field. So Mapson's to the boundary. Highbreeder's to the field side. You got 2 wide receivers that are 6'5", 6'6".
I predict Mapson on a fake fade and a stop route. There it is. Mapson, touchdown! Mapson faked the fade and quickly turned, and that ball was delivered before he was even turned down. That's Jimmy Graham, New Orleans Saints style there, as Mapson reels it in, and it's 39-23. Nice delivery by Noah Burlett. Nice timing and great concentration by the big fella.
Good catch from Mapson. Good pass from Burlett. Timing is everything. He hit him right on the money. Good drive for the Panthers. You saw some urgency out of them.
Urgency indeed. It's 15 points. That's a 2-possession game. I did some quick math in my head. You get 2 touchdowns, extra point, and a 2-point conversion, and you're right there, Coach, hanging with the Warriors from the Southland Conference.
It's not over.
These teams coming in have quite the resume. Washington's resume is impressive. A loss to Kankakee, which was a close football game. well aware that the score ended up being a 2-touchdown game, I believe. But it was 14-7 at one point, I believe, in that game, Coach. Is that correct?
That is correct, yes.
Washington hung right there with them. They just gave up those early points in the first quarter, much like today. And, of course, the Warriors' schedule has been phenomenal, tremendous. Losses to Lincoln Way East, Joliet Catholic, and Kankakee. Those three teams added up only have 2 combined losses, and all 3 of those teams are still alive and well in the conference or in the playoffs.
They've had a tough schedule so far, and both teams have. So we're seeing some really good playoff football here down the stretch.
Winner gets to play Lamont or East St. Louis. East St. Louis, who's played a national schedule, has only given up 2 points to an opponent from the state of Illinois. That is a loaded football team as that kick travels out of bounds through the end zone, and that will put now the Warriors back on the field. 3 minutes, 39-24, and an offensive slugfest. Washington has been known for their defense, surrendering 12 points per game on the season. And, of course, the Southland Conference opponent is doing the exact same thing. Do you believe that Crete will change their style, or will they just continue to play fast, and faster?
I think they're going to continue to play fast and do what they do.
There is a quarterback keeper around that left side. Another nice block by Hampton. And Franklin has ran out of bounds as he gets to about the 28, a pickup of 8 for the dynamic quarterback that has shown that he can throw it, and he has most definitely shown that he can run it.
Yeah, it's hard to keep him contained. Defensive ends, though, they've got to do the job to keep him contained and get him back pushed towards that middle of the field. Once he gets the edge, he's really tough to stop.
The Panthers' communication happens at 3 different levels, and there is a bunched-up formation. And still on his feet, we'll get you a number in a second here, and he has finally ran out of bounds. That's number 13, Armani Carr, 5'11", 210-pounder. That was a bunched-up, heavy-looking formation, and Carr emerged from that and just continued to run. That was a touchdown-saving tackle on the play, or else this very well could have been a 45-24 game. That's the first time we've seen Armani Carr with the football tonight. Just yet another talented young man for this Warrior offense. Chance Joseph in motion, fake handoff on the jet sweep. That's Franklin still on his feet. He's got blockers in front of him. That's his running back, Joseph. And Franklin has scored. There is a flag deep in the backfield. And there's a holding penalty. It's a holding penalty against Crete, and that will bring that touchdown score off the table, and that will now bring up a first down and most likely about 20, as we'll put that play in rewind, and it never happened. 2 minutes and 38 seconds on the clock. Temperature right now is about 36 degrees. Wind is 10 miles per hour. The temperature has definitely affected the size of the crowd, but it has been a pretty good, energetic crowd here when Washington continues to battle. The Warriors back in motion. There's the play that we saw over and over again in the first half, and that time Lionel Billups is brought down after a gain of about 4 or 5. He's slow to get up. He is limping. Hopefully that young man is all right. He had himself a phenomenal first half as he appears to be shaking it off and staying on the field. Second down and 15. 2 minutes on the clock. And there is a different. That is Franklin now walking out. It's trips to the right, 2 wide receivers. That's an empty set for Franklin, as he has now got Evans in motion. Franklin around the left as the Panthers pursue, and he picks up about 5 or 6 before he's ran out of bounds by leading tackler for Washington, E.J. Phillips. Backup quarterback Easton Harris now running out onto the field. Billy Morrison off. This is the nickel package for the Panthers. Coach, what is nickel package? Explain that to the viewers.
So nickel, coach, would be when you have 5 defensive backs. So what they've done is they've taken a down lineman, they've brought him off the field, and then they'll put 5 defensive backs in there because they're expecting the pass.
Empty set again out of the shotgun for Franklin. That's Tyler Casey pursuing. And that ball is aired out. He's got a man. That's Evans. That ball is deflected.
Did you catch that?
That is incredible concentration. That is incredible concentration. That ball was tipped. I believe it was tipped by Evans, laying flat on his back, and Evans caught that football.
He caught it on the ground. Yeah, great concentration there.
We're Washington announcers. We're Washington coaches, and I bleed orange. And Coach, I know you bleed orange.
Absolutely.
That was pretty darn good focus, and you have to give credit where credit is due. It's 45-24, 1 minute and 44 seconds out of the shotgun as they go for 2. Empty set. It's been this way the last 4 times now. That's Chance Joseph. Franklin on the keeper, and Franklin finds his way in for a 2-point conversion. It is 47-24 with 1 minute and 44 seconds left on the clock. As the Warriors have shown that their statistics that we researched, we looked up some of their players.
Yep.
We watched film. We watched things online. Obviously, the Washington coaches did too. Live, they're every bit as good as everything that we saw online.
They are. I watched, and you were in there too, watching that St. Ignatius game from last week, and they only put up 15 points last week, which was kind of the anomaly for their season. But you could tell that they were explosive and at any time could make a big play. I feel like they've made a lot of them tonight.
Dr. Freeman, we were watching that football game during our planning period. We were not doing that while Coach Bauer was supposed to be teaching PE and I was supposed to be teaching U.S. history. Again, I repeat, that was during our planning period. That's our paid break to be able to watch St. Ignatius and the Warriors online. So we're back to action, a minute 44. It is 47-24 as there goes Borges on the kick return. And now we're going to see, what Washington's got in the tank here with a minute 38. These are character check moments.
Absolutely.
This game's not over, but this is a character check moment. If you're a junior, you're a sophomore. They're watching seniors. They're watching what they're going to do during adversity, and they're going to want to know exactly how these Washington Panthers are going to respond.
Right.
On the camera for us today is Coach Stewart. Coach Stewart's response to the camera flying off the tripod is a big old smile. Those of you that are with us, he is all right. Luckily, he had safety equipment on, and everything's okay. We're still joined by Caleb Baumgarten up here. Caleb, thanks for working on a Saturday afternoon. I'm sure that you had some things that are probably on your docket. Thanks for watching some good football with us. And, of course, you're joined by Coach Bauer, and I'm Eric Schermerhorn, and that is Burlett being drugged to the ground. That's number 3, Terry Elias on the play, 195-pounder, 6 foot with the quarterback sack as Burlett took the hit. And Burlett is still on the ground. When Coach Konecki talked about Terry Elias, he made the comparison to Mike Singletary. Coach, what year were you born?
86.
Coach Mike Singletary was winning a Super Bowl in 1986. Samurai Mike.
Right.
I was in 3rd or 4th grade watching in Mr. Ron McQuett's basement, owner of Broadway Liquors. He had a really cool stairs that went in a circular formation, and I watched them just destroy the New England Patriots. It might have been one of the greatest highlights of my life. How pathetic is my life watching the Bears win a Super Bowl. Noah Burlett is up. Noah Burlett is with Kyle Gennart, and he is walking on his own power off the field. That's going to bring Easton Harris on. Coach, do you remember that Super Bowl when you were an infant?
No, I do
didn't
not.
think so. What month were you born?
July.
Well, of course not. It was January of 1980. How are you going to be able to watch that football game? You're a Viking.
At least the Bears, for you, have won a Super Bowl. The Vikings are 0-4.
Now, how does a person born and raised in the Peoria area become a Notre Dame fan and a Vikings fan?
It's all my dad. I don't know if I blame him or I thank him sometimes.
The next thing out of your mouth, you're going to tell me you're a Metamora basketball fan. Are you a Metamora basketball fan?
No chance.
All right.
No
excellent.
chance.
Just making sure. If not, if you would have been fired here immediately. There is Easton Harris. Easton Harris airing that ball out, and that ball is broken up by number 24, Karan Mines. It was intended for number 11, Brock Pollitt. Mines is up to 10 push-ups. Mines is up to 13 push-ups. Mines got 15 push-ups in after that pass deflection. So we've got now 3rd down and 20 with 1 minute and 6 seconds on the clock. Easton Harris is our quarterback. We'll give you an update on Noah Burlett. We're attempting to find him right now on the sideline. I can see that Coach Kyle Gannett has got him, and Noah is definitely still in some pain on the sideline. So Harris has got Borges off to the left, and there is a timeout by head coach Darryl Crouch with 1 minute and 2 seconds, 47-24, with the ball on the 23. How difficult is it? You were saying in a broadcast much earlier, I believe it was against Addison Trail. You came in, it was your first game as a sophomore, coming in with probably limited reps that year.
Yes.
The starting quarterback was unable to play.
Yep.
How difficult is this for Easton Harris, who's had limited action this year? In fact, he's coming in with only 3 pass attempts. Is that a very difficult thing? It's a playoff football game against, quite frankly, the best opponent Washington's played at this point.
It is from a standpoint of how much reps is he getting with the ones during the week. Because if Noah Burlett's getting most of the reps, that means he's working with different receivers sometimes. So that's all timing. That's being on the same page. He may even be working with a different center sometimes. So that stuff, that's important in a week of preparation, is how many reps is he getting with the ones.
I think, too, you might be able to discuss just from the standpoint of a coach communicating with the quarterback.
Correct.
Quarterback is a coach on the field. Right there, a timeout is called. Communication, it takes things. It takes synergy to be able to talk to each other and know exactly what each other's want. He is hit hard. Harris was hit hard. That pass is complete to Pollitt. Pollitt is still on his feet. Pollitt is still battling. And Pollitt.
It's a great fight from Pollitt.
Pollitt is on the ground deep on the sidelines. He is behind the Warriors. Easton Harris was hit very hard. Harris is walking off the field. Harris is fine, but that is Pollitt that is on the sideline for the Warriors. That pass was completed. This is about the second injury on that sideline. If you can recall, in the first half, Jack Lemus was on that sideline. And now we've got BP, Brock Pollitt, number 11.
You know, and as I look down here, I see Burlett taking his shoulder pads off. You hope a kid can come back in and finish the game, especially like Noah. I mean, he's put so much into this season and has become such a great leader for this team. You hate to see him take the shoulder pads off for what could potentially be the last time. So that's hard to see, but it's, you know, Easton Harris step in and play his butt off.
So Burlett is done. He's hugging right now. Coach Walter on the sideline. Kyle has taken his shoulder pads off, but right now our concern is on the football field with Brock Pollitt, as Pollitt is being attended to by, I believe, multiple doctors over on that side too. Washington does have multiple doctors that stand on the sideline that join Kyle. So we are definitely hoping right now that he is going to be all right. For those of you that are joining and are with us, there's 53 seconds left here in the third quarter. The Warriors are out to a 47-24 lead. The ball is on the 35, and it is a 4th down and 8 as number 11, that is Brock Pollitt, that is limping off the field.
It's nice to see him walking off under his own power. So hopefully he can get over the sidelines and shake it off and finish out this game, because he's number 11 again. He's a guy that's put everything he's got into this, his heart and soul, and you want to see him finish this game strong.
Paul Sporer on to kick. as this will now lead to a punting situation. 4th and 8. We've seen Washington fake punt. It's 47-24. I'm sure the Warriors have watched, the coaching staff that is, have watched some film and are prepared for virtually anything. There is the snap. It was a low one, and Spohr is able to get off a very good kick, and that takes a gigantic Washington bounce and continues to roll as it goes inside the 20, where Crete will be on the field now with a 1st down and 10 with 39 seconds left. Currently playing still in the playoffs is a Middle Illini opponent from our Middle Illini schedule for Washington, the Morton Potters. We're working on getting you an update. At halftime of that game, Morton was at Muhammad Seymour, which is right outside of Champaign, Illinois. Morton was up 21-14. Morton has defeated Muhammad Seymour 40-28. So the Middle Illini Conference will advance to the Final Four in 5A as the Morton Potters advance. Here right now, though, we are at Babcock Field, and this is Crete versus Washington quarterfinal football. 30 seconds on the clock, and it's the 6th-ranked right now Warriors from the Southland Conference currently in the lead, 47-24. 2nd down and 12 from the 16. They have slowed down, and they're going to allow the time to expire, which is going to take us into the 4th quarter. It is going to take us into the 4th quarter now as the Panthers are starting to look at a very difficult challenge as we get deeper in this game.
Sure, it's a steep mountain to climb. They're not out of it. It can be done, but it's very, very steep. I mean, they're going to have to score every single time they have the ball. And you know what? They're going to need some turnovers. They're going to need a couple big plays on defense, a touchdown from the defense to kind of give them that another spark that they need.
That was the spark in the first half when the dynamic quarterback that has just proven to be so talented, so disciplined, Franklin did put the ball on the deck in the first half. And you could really feel the energy here at Babcock Field change. And Washington punched it in on an Isaac Mapson touchdown shortly thereafter. But give Crete-Monee credit. They have held on to the football, and they have played a very solid first half. East St. Louis, an update. East St. Louis is currently leading Lamont 14-7. So Lamont, credit given to them. They've scored 7 points. East St. Louis has only given up 2 the entire time to a football team from the state of Illinois. While there's a little bit of a break in action, I was looking over the East St. Louis schedule. I noticed they played St. John Bosco, who will be coming to our Thanksgiving tournament, along with other nationally ranked teams. And there is Chance Joseph, who is from the 16-yard line right now. It is a foot race. It is Joseph, and Joseph is caught from behind by Easton Harris.
Great hustle.
Harris coming from a hard angle, a tough angle. And Harris, a potential Major League Baseball prospect here as a high schooler, a 90-mile-per-hour fastball, gets in the batter's box. He can hit the heck out of the ball. He's got soft hands. It just shows you a multi-sport athlete. That was dynamic to catch that young man.
It was, and you were talking about seniors showing effort to the sophomores and the freshmen. That was it right there. Easton Harris just did it. He sprinted as hard as he could to make that touchdown-saving tackle, and that just shows that, you know what, no matter what the score is, we're going to play hard, and we're not going to quit.
Guys like McQuarrie, a sophomore that's going to be a tremendous asset for the Panthers, was probably watching Easton Harris there and be able to carry that next year and the years beyond. But the Warriors have punched it in again, and the lead now expands, and it grows. It is now 53-24 with 11 minutes and 41 seconds on the clock. 4th quarter of action here at Babcock Field. Update on an injury. Brock Pollitt is limping on the sidelines as Kyle Gennard is working with him. Noah Burlett is no longer wearing his pads on the sideline. That is a 2-point conversion, and it is halted just short of the goal line. Number 3, Terry Elias, middle linebacker, all over the field. Stopped on the play by number 44, Jace Harlan, with a good hit. We've been impressed with Jace from day one. Jace is the younger brother of Tucker Harlan, a basketball player that played on a Panther team that finished 27-2. Jace is only a sophomore. What a growing and learning experience this is, playing in a big-time football game, deep in the playoffs. This is only going to benefit that young man.
Absolutely. This is great experience for him. And just, it's going to help the future here of Washington football.
I remember Jace as a young man breaking into Coach Brown's office. He couldn't have been much older than 5 or 6. Somehow he kept on picking the lock of the door, and he'd break in and he'd have himself some popsicles. It's good to see right now he's out here on the football field, but Coach will never let Jace Harlan in the basketball locker room. So it is 11 minutes and 41 seconds, 53-24, fourth quarter of action for the right to play the winner of East St. Louis and Lamont. New update from Lamont. It is now East St. Louis 20, Lamont 7. So that lead has grown. There's the kick from the Warriors. That is Thomas Borges with the kick return. Borges is on his feet at about the 37-38. Somehow found his way through that mess up to about maybe the 34-35. And the Panthers now will come back out on the field with 11 minutes and 33 seconds on the clock.
Picks it up to the 35-yard line. First down, Washington.
So Washington, your words, I agree, a mountain to climb now. But as they start to attack and they start to get back out on the field, do you keep your identity from weeks and weeks, which is run, run, run? Or do you start to air this thing out and see what happens?
I think you see a dose of both. You run the ball, you get Thomas Borges some carries. They're going to go heavy formation here.
It is heavy formation. And he is wrapped up in the backfield. That's Borges. Update, in 6A. Coach, is this 5A?
It's 5.
Update in 5A. Marion 14, Kankakee 7. 10 minutes and 44 seconds left in the second. So we have got teams that have a lot on the line. It's quarterfinal football. But that really shows you how good of a schedule these two football teams played, that we have people right now researching for us, and we're popping out scores of common opponents across the board everywhere.
And and these two coaches are thinking all the time, who can I play to make my team better?
It's a coaching quandary. Do you play the schedule that guarantees wins? Do you play the schedule that guarantees your kids are having a blast, they're taking challenges, and by the end of the year, you are ready and prepared to play for anything? It's abundantly clear that both of these programs, they are playing the best of the best, and I think they relish the opportunity to go play teams that are at the next level.
Sure they do. These two teams are not afraid to lose. And they want to go play the best. You can't be afraid to lose in this situation.
So Coach Brown taught us well. Head basketball coach that we lost in June of 2019. Coach Brown always took on the mentality of, I would rather be a 500 coach playing the best, which he didn't like being 500, but he would much rather play that schedule that was going to test us. Mm-hmm. Coach Bauer would get to share with the crowd, our first game of the year is in the Kevin Brown Memorial Tournament of Champions. We're playing state-ranked, probably number 1, Yorkville Christian with Jaden Shutt that's going to Duke.
Correct. They are number 1.
Second game, we're playing Denmark Olar. Zachary Davis, already committed to South Carolina, will be playing in the NBA in 2, 3, maybe 4 years. The tournament is loaded with 45 Division I basketball players. If you're looking for something to do over Thanksgiving, the Kevin Brown Memorial Tournament of Champions, Washington, Illinois. If you can't get here, Clutch Sports Media will have all 34 games online, live stream, free.
Yep.
Clutch Sports Media, 45 Division I's. Coach will play the game again. We're going to play until we run out. Can you name a player that played in the NBA that played in the TOC?
Can I use names from the past broadcast? Nobody knows that.
No.
Reggie Bullock.
Coach,
Bullock.
Only 4 people are listening to us right now, so that's going to be your 2 kids and my 2 kids are the only 4.
That's true.
Reggie Bullock is correct. Coach Stewart, cameraman, give it nice and loud. Do you have one?
I got Zion.
He said Zion Williamson. That is correct. Caleb.
I don't really watch sport.
Crickets are chirping. Caleb, if I would have asked for Star Wars characters, could you have? Oh, my goodness. That is number 4 with a one-handed interception, Odell Beckham Jr. style. That is Johnny Evans with the interception. The same young man that made the touchdown reception flat on his back, just one-handed flat on his back interception. And coach is speechless. Could you have made that play?
No, absolutely not. Absolutely not. Just you know what? And you always say it, Coach. The hardest thing to do is to focus, and that man's focus on those 2 catches has been incredible.
That's number 23, Elijah Grayer, 5'7", 160-pound junior with the rush. They do have 3 running backs that, as we researched, they were not scared to use all 3 running backs. We've seen a lot of Chance Joseph tonight, but Johnny Evans, Elijah Grayer, and Chance Joseph, that's a 3-headed monster. And when you put Josh Franklin in the background, that's a 4-headed monster in that backfield. And they have so many weapons, as there is Chance Joseph working to get back up to that line. It's 9 minutes and 14 seconds, 53-24. So, Caleb, you never really answered me. If I would have gone Star Wars characters, I have a feeling we could have gone on for like an hour. Is that possible?
Oh, yeah, I got you there.
All right, that's excellent. So we left off at Zion Williamson. I'll go Anthony Davis, TOC. He played in the TOC. Coach Bauer, you're up.
I'm up.
Coach Bauer is out. Coach Stewart. Andrew Wiggins is correct. Caleb, I'm not going to allow you to go with any kind of Star Wars reference, so I'm up. I'm going Tyler Hero, played in the Tournament of Champions.
Quentin Grimes?
Quentin Grimes played in the Tournament of Champions. Coach Stewart, you're up.
Was Anthony Davis taken?
Anthony Davis was taken.
Was he? Let's go.
Coach Stewart's out. Nolan's Noel played in the Tournament of Champions. Tristan Thompson. Corey Joseph. You want me to keep on going?
I do.
All right, I'm done. Calathis played. Ladies and gentlemen, you get the point. 60 NBA players have played in the Tournament of Champions. Back to football, 8 minutes and 22 seconds, 53-24. It is 4th down and 8. The Warriors are punting. Back is number 25 for the Panthers. I apologize that we do not have a name. Number 25, most likely an underclassman that's joined the playoff roster here deep in the playoffs. Coach Crouch, much like our mentor, Coach Brown, oftentimes would bring up young pups to get them out there on the field. So number 25 is we have a second roster. That's Jacob Walker that is out there right now for the Panthers. So maybe an opportunity with 8 minutes left for the future to be seen. We'll have to really keep our eyes. Spotters, Coach Stewart, Caleb, if you would help me out, if there's any numbers out there that you start to see that are not typically on the field, we definitely want to draw our attention to them. Right now I see Easton Harris out there, Thomas Borges, Isaac Mapson, Coach Crouch staying with the seasoned vets. 8 minutes on the clock, and there is still 8 in the box for the Warriors, and he is wrapped up by number 51. That is Xavier Slayton. That is a well-rounded, very, very good football player. And with my limited football knowledge, he just seems like he's just a smart kid, right there, just probably staying on his assignment, allowed the play to happen, and then made the play.
And Coach Konecki used that about his team multiple times in the interview this week, cerebral. He said they were all very cerebral kids, which means their football IQ is very high.
So the Panthers now out of the Power I, which has been the staple of Washington for the last 5 weeks, and they return to it. There's 2 pulling offensive linemen, Borges on the run, and Borges picks up about 4 or 5. Remember, Borges was seeking, although as mentioned earlier, would trade a victory for it at any point. Coming into the game, he was just 86 yards behind Kenny Hopp, number 2 on the list for season rushing yards. Borges was just 40-some-odd yards behind him going into the second half. We don't have the exact stats. I'm not going to exaggerate it, make it up, but I would imagine he's getting somewhere close to catching Kenny Hobb, Hall of Famer. So Easton Harris out of the shotgun. It is 3rd down and 6 minutes and 30 seconds. That's B-Shide now in motion. Harris with the pitch. Borges on the left. Borges runs through contact, and Borges stumbles ahead for about a 10, 12, maybe 13-yard gain. Hard run after contact.
And I think if he stays on his feet, he probably breaks that record.
Well said. He's the best color man in football for a reason.
Hey, one more who played in the NBA and played in the TOC.
Who you got, Coach?
Alec Peters.
Alec Peters.
Washington's own.
Pete is listening right now. Pete recovering from knee surgery, drafted by the Phoenix Suns in the 2nd round, currently playing in the EuroLeague in Spain. Pete, that is my bad. We list everybody else in America, and we forgot you, my man. Good job, Coach Bauer. Coach Bauer, how many Dunlap kids have played in the TOC?
0.
0 is correct. Good answer. Just getting you on a roll right now. It's
Who?
2 in a row.
Who? Oh, okay.
Yes, exactly. It's 2nd down and 10, 5 minutes and 35 seconds. As Harris looks at Coach Crouch, 53-24. 2nd down and 10. The winner will advance. Keep in mind, East St. Louis has built a 13-point lead on Lamont. The winner will play the winner of that game, trending towards East St. Louis at this moment. There is Harris with the pitch. Borges tripped up in the backfield, as that was number 13 taking Borges down, Armani Carr, who had a run earlier. Borges is slow to get up.
And there's so much to say about Thomas. I mean, I like how he's coming off the field, because he looks like he's definitely shaken up. But, you know, you go with kind of who's been your horse or your guy all year, and you just keep feeding him the ball. And you hate to see him finish the year like this, coming off with an injury, but he just runs so hard, and he's been so fun to watch this year.
Agree. E.J. Phillips now replacing Borges. Phillips, one of the leading tacklers on the Panther defense. We watched him last year as a sophomore playing on the JV team. Explosive runner, physical runner, as the Warriors bring the heat.
Oh,
that
one hand
is a
from
one-handed
Mapson.
catch from Isaac Mapson. Isaac Mapson coming right back and telling number 4, Johnny Evans, that what you can do, I can do too, as Mapson with a long reception from very close friend Easton Harris, as those two have connected now not once but twice. Great focus by the big man as he hauls in a long reception. Let's see if they go right back to Mapson again, and they run a fade route here on the right. They hit Mapson earlier on a nice play. They hit Mapson on a stop and go. Let's see what they do now. Harris, handoff. That's Phillips. And Phillips is tackled by 4 or 5 Warrior defenders, as that was number 3 in on that party, Terry Elias. Compared by Coach Konecki to Mike Singletary, said that he just gets it. He sees it before the play happens. He's that kid that's been playing for 4 years. It's virtually having a coach right out there in the middle of your defense.
Yep.
So the Panthers are threatening to put this ball in this end zone with 3 minutes. We talked character check. I see character everywhere out there as Washington is still competing. A scoreboard does not matter at this point. You end with everything you got, and that is exactly what Coach Crouch's crew is doing. Harris out of the shotgun. He's going back to Mapson. Mapson with 2 hands. Mapson unable to haul that one in. A good effort by number 1, the big man, as Harris put that ball out there. That was double coverage, and like going up for an offensive rebound, he almost made a sensational catch.
He did. You can see he's got great body control, and we know that from the basketball court. I mean, his ability to really adjust to an underthrown ball and to try to come back and get that for a kid that's 6'6" to make that play. Great adjustment, good body control. He just couldn't end up with the catch.
You know what I love about both of these football teams is the compete button of both of these teams. There's starters out there everywhere. Both of these teams are going all the way to the end. There is no cruise control right now for orange or white. That ball is out there again. That's a 50-50 ball being fought over in the end zone. And it is an interception on the play. That was a fight for the football as number 19, Evan Grazier, did stand up with the football, but there were two officials right on top of that play, and that was an interception for the Warriors.
You know, you talked about the compete button, and it's almost like right now that there's nothing on the scoreboard. They're just out there playing football, and they'll play till the end. They'll play as hard as they can, both teams.
2 minutes and 39 seconds, 53-24 Crete-Monee ball. And this game does not reflect a season for Washington.
Absolutely not.
A season that started at Highland, a team that early in the season, I do think, as a nice play by E.J. Phillips as he makes a tackle in the backfield. A seasoned coach, and we are true serum. There were people that surrounded us at times that said that this was going to be a Panther football team that would be lucky to go 500.
Correct.
We weren't those people, but there were people that were making those comments. It was a small group that said that the offensive line was not going to be able to perform, that they were not going to be able to hold up, that this might be a Panther team that does not make the playoffs. Well, ladies and gentlemen, this is a Panther football team that competed from week 1 at Highland, improved every single day on this football field, and has competed all the way to the quarterfinals, and that is 1 through however many guys are on those sidelines, and a coaching staff that dedicated themselves to figuring out ways to win games and get better. This has been a fun season to be a part of.
It has been. It's been a lot of fun to watch these kids grow as football players and even just as kids. You know, I think this is a group with a lot of good character. They play hard. And like you said, a team that was looked at potentially as a 5-4 team. Now they're in the third round of the playoffs, and I think they've cemented their place in Washington football history.
Crete-Monee's in the victory formation, but he did not take a knee. He is up the middle. We don't have a number, but he's brought down by Evan Grazier, I believe. And that is a first down. That was number 13 on the run, Armani Carr. That is the second time they've been in that formation and ran that play. There is now 1 minute on the clock. So the Warriors from the Southland Conference will now advance. They will play the winner of National Powerhouse, State Powerhouse, moved up a class, East St. Louis, and a very solid football team, Lamont. So for those of you that are listening to the broadcast, best of luck to whoever you play in the Final Four game. We will most likely and most definitely be following your outcome and wish you nothing but the best. As for Panther football fans, it has been a tremendous season with a lot of heart. We watched together in the spring with virtually empty bleachers. There was much angst over whether there would be a football season in 2020, which ended up being a football season in 2021. And then we got a little second dose of football here in 2021. From start to finish, it has been a fun one. The Panthers will end up 9-3 on the season. And, of course, Crete-Monee will go on, and they will now take a 9-3 record, state ranked number 6, into a quarterfinal game. Coach Bauer, you've been watching our football team, the Panthers, from early on to today. What are you most impressed about this team?
I'm just going to give you an answer of everything. I like the way they compete. I like the way they play for each other. It was a lot of fun to go to practice and watch them prepare for a game. It was fun to see what they do during a week and how dedicated they are to quarterbacks being in the film room at 6:30, 7 a.m., to seeing kids who are hurt in the training room diligently trying to work to get back healthy. And then to see a kid like Brock Skaggs who is devastated to miss his senior year, but he's out there every single day working as hard as he can and just being with his team. I'm just impressed, overall impressed with the whole team, the team as a whole, the coaches, the players. I have so much respect for what they do and how they play. It's been fun to actually be a part of, and it's been fun to kind of be in that mix of seeing it firsthand and being inside of it. It's cool.
And it's not just a football game. We have been so fortunate, so lucky, competitive from the start to finish, but also so many other things that happen to make Washington football nights so special. Cheerleading under Mo Minahan and Jennifer Blumenshine, they've been here through every single game, and they have been, and we have seen them in the NPR. They practice just as much as any other competitive sport in our high school. And the band, Lisa Parrott and Jim Tallman, even performing tonight in the cold. They were right out there jamming away at halftime for this crowd, and that is a state-renowned band. So much makes this community special. It's fun to be around everything about Washington football in the community. Ladies and gentlemen, there's a lot of athletes out on this field that are going to be moving on to winter sports. We wish them nothing but the best. And as for you at home, thank you for joining our broadcast. I know it was a tough outcome if you're a Washington fan, but it's been a phenomenal season. Thank you for joining us. And until next football season, join us in the basketball gym as we play Thanksgiving TOC. Sign